Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody here this morning, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. And just so you know, the meeting is being recorded, so if you want to check back at anything or look at anything else, it will be on our website. So with that, I will call for the adoption of the agenda, please.
Resolved that the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated and noted additions. Communication for information 9.4.8, Association of Natural Municipalities News Bulletin, May 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Anything else that we need to add to our agenda, or you want to discuss a little bit further today? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have 3 sets of minutes from our previous meetings. We have our regular meeting from the 22nd, our special meeting from the 29th of April, and our financial plan hearing on May the 6th. So if I can have a resolution, did you put them all together? Yes, they are all together. Okay.
So resolved that the minutes of April 22nd, 2025 regular meeting of council, April 29th, 2025 special meeting of council, and May 6th, 2025 financial plan hearing be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Gordon seconds. Any amendments to those minutes? Any of the sets of minutes we have before us? I'm not seeing or hearing anything, so I've got a mover, a seconder. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And we are a little bit early, but Chris, if you're not waiting for anybody else, we'll let you get going with your presentation on Canada Post.
Sure, we are waiting for one more person, but.
Okay, no, we can wait.
Should we get a few minutes, I'm hoping?
Yeah, that's fine. We can just do a couple more things. That's
Sure.
not a problem at all. So let's move on to communications for action.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 5.1, invitation from the Association of Rural Municipalities, and this is for the annual charity golf tournament on August 7th. And this year it will be held in Toulon Golf and Country Club, and it's the 25th annual charity event. And as usual, it's as I recall, the cost is $150 per person.
Okay, any questions or comments on this one? Not seeing any hands go up. So if you want to bring a resolution forward, I'm not sure who's all put in for it, but I know most of us normally go to this one,
Those
so.
clubs must be getting rusty.
So we only have 2 people signed up so far.
Okay, fresh in the box.
So is there any other members of council? I know Councilor Russell, which is in here, he usually signs up for it.
Yeah, but I noticed that we have a couple more on our agenda today, so,
Yeah, yes.
yeah, so. Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
When is the deadline to sign up for this? Can this be brought back?
I don't know if there is a deadline, like,
Oh, we haven't identified a deadline in the invitation.
Because I have volunteered a couple of years also, so.
yeah.
I've got you and Debbie written up as volunteers already.
And if something should happen and you're not able to, I'll still volunteer, and, you know, I know they're always looking for volunteers to give them a hand, so go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Any benefit in just passing a resolution for a team of volunteers and then we can do who's going later?
That's a
Good
good
idea.
idea.
Good idea.
Some of us can't commit right now, but
Yeah,
Okay, certainly we can.
that's how I signed my thing. I just put, if you need a 4th person, you know. That's how I signed my thing.
So resolved, the Arma St. Clements register a team to attend the Association of Rural Municipalities 26th annual charity golf tournament at Toulon Golf and Country Club on August 7th, 2025. And then when the people are attending, we'll add in a resolution as to who's attended.
Okay. Okay, I don't believe I have a mover and a seconder, so if I could have a mover for that, please. Councillor Strang, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, that takes Yeah, go ahead.
And the next golf tournament, now the East District's RCMP have invited us to a golf tournament for September the 11th, 2025. And this time it's at the Suffolk Golf Country Club. And it's a little bit cheaper to attend on this one. And again, it's $110 per person or $440.
You've never gone to this one before, right?
No,
Never
a
seen
couple of people
years ago
did.
in the past,
Yeah,
yeah.
years.
Deepak, are you interested in going to any of these?
Well, Deepak will go probably
All
to
of
the
them.
arm one.
Yeah, I'll probably go to the Army. Okay.
Go to every one.
Okay, so do we want to just maybe bring this one back? Like, I don't know if Councillor Bazarovich would be interested to go to this one, but of course, we also know that there's a bit of a limit on how many each member of council attends, so. But we
Sure,
can maybe
we'll bring
that
this one back.
Okay.
Okay, so it is, Council Bazarovich just did.
No.
So what we'll do is, Madam Mayor, it's only 2 minutes before the scheduled appointment. Looks like everybody's here, so we can maybe go back to item 4.1 and do the reception delegation.
Yeah. Okay, welcome. Thank you for the email, Chris, and I passed it on, and I see that arrangements were made, and I know that you're here to speak about what's happening in Grand Marais with the post office there.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for having us back. My name is Chris Hansen, the local area manager for Southeast Manitoba for Canada Post. Today with me I have Aaron Lockman, who's my superintendent for Eastern Manitoba, and we have Daniel Collance as well from our retail group. And it's been a couple of years since we presented, I think the last time, we were thinking we were going to have some issues with postal service in Grand Marais. 2 years later, we're back here again. We did receive a resignation from the Grand Marais Post Office, which is a franchise. We call it the dealer location of ours. So we were here today to discuss what the future of postal services will look like in Grand Marais going forward. Now, normally in these cases, for a franchise, it's a little bit different. I do have a most recent example of a franchise that did put in a resignation. That was the Traverse Bay. We had a franchise that resigned there. So we usually have a few options to kind of discuss to go over what it's going to look like. The Traverse Bay one, it turned into community mailbox sites. So we didn't have the location anymore in the Traverse Bay corner. So we went to the community mailbox option, as it were, which was across the highway at a spot that was picked up by the RM. And then we have an RSMC, one of our delivery agents, go there and deliver every day. Their carded items, the things that are kind of oversized or need signatures, go to the Bell or post office. So that is an example of kind of what we've done in the past in the area. Now, for us, the community mailbox is an option to have delivery go into Grand Marais. In this case, there's not too many businesses in the Grand Marais area, that's what Daniel's going to speak to as well, that we can actually get another franchise. Let me know. I know that Daniel went out a couple of years ago, and I'm not sure how recent he went out, but we do try to look for other franchises. If there are none, we have to look at most likely the community mailbox location. So yeah, we're here to discuss that today. So questions, comments, concerns, options?
Yeah, I think Councillor Boulanger has a question or a comment, so go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so in those cases that you explained, if someone wants, if it goes to the community mailbox, if somebody wants personal service, then they just go to the nearest post office, that's the only other option, correct?
They would go for any items that can be purchased or anything, they would go to the nearest post office, yes.
Or if they want personal service for something.
Oh, like a, you need to define personal service, sorry.
Like somebody behind a counter.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sales transaction, yeah, they would have to go to the nearest post office. In this case, I believe Bel Air is the closest franchise site that we have, which would be, I'm not exactly sure.
Would Standard or Scanterbury?
Scanterbury would be an option as well.
Yep,
so is
Scanterbury,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Scanterbury that's our nearest corporate office would be Scanterbury. I think instead it's pretty close.
What's
to that.
Lebo, is that a franchise too, Lebo?
Lebo, no, Lebo is it's a postmaster provided premise.
It would just be a little farther.
Yeah.
So they can go to any of those locations, it'd just be the closest ones would be the ones that we mentioned, so.
So I know last time you checked out that GMCC building, you said it didn't qualify for what you guys were looking?
That was that was like the multi-purpose building, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the stipulations is we need to have a post business that's running Because part of the business model is that it brings traffic into your business. So if it's not that, if it's just a dedicated building where you're putting someone behind the counter, unfortunately, the business model of the post office today is not the same as it was 10 years ago, and it's not really financially beneficial for anybody to put it in and pay wages and bring in the small amounts of actual traffic that are going to be purchasing at the site. It's a lot of online purchasing and then drop off in stores. It's a lot of returns for Amazon, these kind of things. We still have the traffic, and that is the big sell. That's the big benefit of having chemicals in the dealer. So one of the rules is if there is no business for us to bring traffic into that will be beneficial from it, even if someone says, you know, we want to do it anyways, let's put it in. 2 years down the road, they're looking at the numbers and
So
going,
basically what you're saying is you're gonna go to boxes, outside boxes, in Grand Marais, that's what it's looking at?
That's what it really comes down to in a lot of towns. A lot of towns don't have much left in them, the ones that we have to look at these options, unfortunately. We are looking at currently a couple other smaller towns where we have to do that. Now, it's because they don't have another business in town that's viable, or they don't have a location for the post office. Like we have postmaster provided facilities where we hire someone, and of course they have to find their own location. But that's proving to be very difficult these days as well, because there's no other businesses in town. So yeah, there is limited options for the Grand Marais post office at this right now. I will be upfront about that.
Go ahead, Rob.
And that's really unfortunate because Grand Marais has always had a postmaster post office. Years ago, it was that Dorothy's store there. Then Mr. Snowden took it over.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Grand Marais, yeah, sometimes it's a sleepy hollow, but we are trying to grow the community. We are trying to do some development there. We want to see it thrive. We want to bring it back to its glory, hopefully in the future. It's just, if that's the only thing we can do is put boxes there, that's really, it's almost like when you lose your post office in your community, you start losing your town, you start losing, like, that's the sense I get, is that when you lose your post office, you start losing, it's just the beginning to the end.
I can understand that for sure.
You know,
It was
No.
a real big thing for Lebo. I mean, they kept it, you know, they really petitioned for it or whatever. But, I mean, it was, like you said, it was always a postmaster there. It wasn't anything. I mean, if you took that away, it'd be nothing there, really.
yeah, I get where you're coming from. I get both sides, but it's a real, real balancing act, right?
It is, it's almost like a news identity. Like, the good thing about, well, that's a good thing, we still keep the addresses, so you still keep the Grand Marais itself, like the name on the address, nothing changes that way. But I do understand you lose the post office, which is a staple of the, I mean, I'm not sure how long the franchise has been there, probably before my time, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
way before our time, I think. So I'm not sure if it ever had an actual post office, like a corporate office in Grand Marais at any point, but I can understand council for sure, it's a loss to the community, especially when you're trying to build up. That's, like, and then once we do a community mailbox, it is really difficult to go away from community mailboxes that are on down the road. We build up a community, and also we have some more businesses there that are viable that would take on our franchise. First of all, they have to agree, and second, we'd have to try and see if we can, that would be very difficult to do later.
Let me pose this to you. So let's say hypothetically that's the direction you guys go in, that community mailboxes go in. What if down the road in the future, something comes up where there is a real viable place that can work? Would you go reverse and revoke, or the mailboxes stay, but you just provide a personal service? Is that how it works?
It's never happened with the community mailboxes have gone away, because normally we have to hire someone in a position to actually go and deliver. Because we're running into real trouble in that kind of area where I'm running to kind of post offices, and we have to have drivers going all over the place to drop off. In a sense, we could keep the boxes, and then we would move to more of a pickup point, I believe, right?
Yeah.
The new name term for that?
Post point where basically it's you've got prepaid products at the store, which is actually kind of what Bel Air is. So you can buy flat rate boxes, prepaid express post, these kind of things.
Stamps.
Exactly. The stuff that you don't need a scale for, essentially. You can do your drop-offs there, you can do pickups, you can ask whatever questions you have. The services are slightly limited because they don't have a full system, so you can't send moneygrams or you can't bring in a parcel. and put it
And
on
your
the scale.
biggest part of your business now is parcels, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah, it is, because you go to that Lebo post office, you can't even walk in sometimes, it's jammed. That's all there is Amazon.
Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that the mail volume of our company is kind of going away, and we're more transitioning more to a parcel and package
Just the
company.
bills keep coming.
Yeah, that's the never go away. But to answer your question, Councilor, that could be an option down the road, like a pickup points.
Yeah.
Possibly, if we have a business there that's willing to do that, and again, it's limited services.
Yeah.
But most likely, the community mailboxes would stay. I would say probably 100% would
Yeah.
stay because of the infrastructure and the cost that goes into
Yeah,
putting it
it's
there.
just nice knowing that, because if down the road there is some development that happens in Grand Marais hypothetically,
Yep.
then that could make a transition into having that.
Absolutely, having some services is better than having,
Yeah.
I guess, no services at all in the future, right? So,
Go ahead, Scott.
I'm gonna circle back to the concept of the Grand Marais Community Center. Yes, it's not a business, but it's run by a nonprofit that we assist in funding. So if they're losing money, it doesn't really matter. You see the point that I'm making? This would be a service decision for the community. Now, of course, we would have to have a discussion with that board and see if they actually want to do that. 'Cause that's how that would probably have to work, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have a couple of councilors that sit on the board. Like, I guess, and I understand you have to have models, don't get me wrong. It's the way it works, but I think it's something that maybe we should still put a little bit of more exploration in to see. I mean, the board might say no.
Yeah, but I think that Scott's got a good point, that the people in the community will want this. I think so. So what are the hours of the one that's there now?
store hours, that they're running?
Yeah, well, what your post office that's there now, what are the hours there?
Off the top of my head, I believe he's around 9 to 12 and 1 to 5 approximately.
So
That's
if
just estimated.
they came back and said, we're gonna operate from 10 to 2 or 3 and still give that service 5 days a week, why wouldn't you guys go for that?
So I knew the role before I went in to look. I did go explore it anyways. I took pictures. I explained that this was the only real option because a lot of the businesses are seasonal and the seasonal business is not viable for us. I put it forward, I pitched the whole thing, and it was shut down repeatedly. We can't do it. It's gonna, even if they say we'll take a loss now, in 2 years.
You guys said you can't do it, or
Correct.
the board said they can't?
We.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah, my numbers, yeah.
We
Oh,
always,
I
it
did
wasn't
put it-
in trust.
you don't have any pull there, you can't change the mind?
I pulled as much as I could. I'm relatively low with the
We
numbers.
wish we did sometimes, believe me.
Well, we'll send those 400 or 500 box owners down to your office there. Talk to them, because they'll be coming to us.
I will say that the community mailbox transition, like when we do them in communities, I do have a lot of positive feedback. Like when the studies were done, when we stopped transitioning some of the urban centers, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, things like that, when the studies were done by the government, it was like in around the 90% of people that really liked them. They had 24-hour access to their mail and products. The parcels, the majority of them fit into the parcel compartments that they have. They're specifically sized for those boxes. I'm not saying that no one will get pushed back with community mailboxes, but generally speaking, I'm 100% confident that most people like their community mailboxes. I know that doesn't really ease the service issues or
It'll just be the bigger
concerns.
Amazon parcel, now they're gonna have to drive.
We would have, that's the issue that
They'll
we have.
they'll have to pick where they wanna go.
They have a few things. They have deliver to post office option. They have flex delivery. They can kind of pick whichever office they want to go to, whether it's Levo or Scanterbury or Stead or Bel Air or Victoria Beach, whichever one they want to. They can have those ones shipped directly to those offices instead. Instead, not actually.
Yeah.
They can choose that. I have a flex delivery address. I used to pick my stuff up downtown when I was working there. So everything's shipped there, so I don't have to go to an extra drive later on. in the
But
road.
Stead's hardly even open, I think.
Yeah, Stead is very limited hours, so that would, but if they're driving by Scanterbury, they're driving by Levo, anything like that, they can have it shipped there
I think Scanterbury really
as an option.
It's a little farther though.
does.
So-
Bel Air.
The Bel Air, I guess, is the
Well, there's
closest office, right?
13 kilometers, Canterbury's 21.
Yeah.
So in your travels in the area there in Grand Marais, was there any particular spot that looked like it would work for a community mailbox? Like, I don't know how many people pick their mail up there. Like, I know here at the post office, we have all the boxes inside, and then we have the boxes outside, and there's getting to be a fair number of those also, so.
There's 383 box customers, plus one convenience box, so 384 people that go to that post office at the moment.
Yeah, that's quite a few. Go ahead.
On your note, Deb, Canada Post might be coming to us and saying, can we put our boxes at your community center?
That's next.
Well, that's, I know,
I figured that
and that's why I
Yeah.
asked the question, because I kind of thought that that might be where we're going here,
Does
so.
anybody have some yard space they want to donate to the area, perhaps? That would be the next step in this. So we'd have to find a location in our delivery services group. I don't bring my whole entourage of people. They would reach out to the councilors, of course, the CEO, to discuss where to put those boxes. I know around 2 years ago, I think community center did come up in the discussion. I can't remember exactly,
I
but
think it did.
they would work with the RM to try to find a suitable location for the boxes. And that'd be the next thing. So do we have land, things like that? Who maintains them? All that kind of fun stuff.
So don't some of the Amazon shipments go into the boxes?
They do, yes. Yeah.
So it's just the oversized boxes?
Just the oversized stuff is signatures. The Amazon boxes, for the most part, are designed specifically for our community mailboxes. What they ship in is either that size or smaller. They do, people are shipping dog food, cat food, and things like that. Like, there's no way. But the majority, I think 75% will go into the community mailbox. So
Yeah, and that's an important message to put to our residents when we start.
it would be, yes. But everyone has to drive to the Bel Air or anywhere else.
Yeah.
But the land would be, we cover the cost of the C&D installation, so the community mailboxes. There's be quite a few of them in that case, because there's 383 boxes. 16 or so go into a full community mailbox, so it'd be quite a big site. We cover the installation, all that kind of stuff. Usually a contractor snow clearance agreements for that, depending on where they are. Like if there's a community center with just an office, like, well, we're gonna put it in the community center, Canada Post will clear the whole parking lot, right? No, we'll clear around the C&D, like there's existing snow clearance for community centers or rinks or things like that. So that would be the way to go for our installation. We cover all the locks and stuff like that.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Sutherland. Sorry, Deep.
As far as GMCC in Grand Marais, there was an interest a couple of years ago, right, about having the post office. Was it, did you go, you had the meeting with them?
Yeah.
I guess as far as where the post office could actually be within the building, there's a question that came up, right?
We explored different options about where we could put it. And I pitched a few different options, and each one of them was shut down because it was not a viable host-business kind of relationship. It didn't make financial sense, and I know that right now we want to do whatever we can. If we take a loss, no big deal. 2 years down the road, when we're taking a bit of a loss and maybe people aren't using it as much, it doesn't seem like quite as good an idea. Meanwhile, we've already invested in all this, and now it doesn't become as great an option. And then it deteriorates quickly, and it's not, we don't do a whole lot of case-by-case exceptions because there are so many of our locations across the country. So everything is fairly blanketed as far as the rules go, and where our hands are tied as far as really making those exceptions for rules like this.
Well, the pickup point, at the community center, is there a possibility? But that's a new model. If they have people that are there with the board, if the board agrees, is there a possibility to put a pickup point there so these people wouldn't have to go to Bel Air?
Well, it would still have to go with the full post point model, or the basic one, the bronze model. And that still does have to include a host business.
Oh, it is.
Well, we have a meeting coming up, I think maybe we should discuss that again, and see.
Hey, feel free to discuss it, council, for sure. It's,
But you're saying
I don't
it's
know
not,
if it's-
you can't.
it's not, doesn't seem like it's a possibility on the retail
They're
side.
saying about a host business, so are you meaning that there has to be a business there running all the time that?
Correct. Yeah. Like
So
a
if
retail-
we have our heritage wing, something that's having people, would that, I don't know, if that is
Like I'm thinking there's no space there, I know this already, but I think what they're looking at is a business that's open, like, you know.
Like Snowden.
like Snowden's.
Like financial transactions.
Yeah, the place that
Yeah.
I'm thinking of is the
So that's
Spirit Rock
walking.
Cafe, which is right across, like
Yeah.
it's right on the road, but there's not a lot of space there either.
No.
Well, it didn't need that much space, really.
Well, I don't know,
It's
when you're
10,
putting
so
400 boxes.
30 boxes is a foot, so we're gonna need at least.
Boy, that would be a good draw for
That's a
them,
lot
because it's
of
new
space.
there. Did you guys ever approach them? There's new owners there, eh? Spirit Rock.
It's right across from Snowden's store on
In the
the,
corner
on
there.
the corner.
Right where the current post office is now, right across the road.
I'm not sure if I don't remember that one.
Is it an all year round
Yeah.
business?
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I said,
Might be
I'm not
worth a
sure
try.
if they have enough space there, but, you know, that is a possibility, and it's like right on the highway, you know, it's not that people have to drive off the highway for
And
it.
it's a cafe, it would generate, people go there for their meal, have a coffee.
Now, would we think that still, is it partnership or in tandem with the community mailbox, is it at a pickup point there? Because I would imagine that cafe is not gonna have an extra 40 feet or whatever it is for boxes.
No.
But would they be a
Definitely
pickup
not.
point perhaps, maybe? That's a
Yeah.
possibility.
Yeah,
Like,
go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead, Rob.
so the boxes would go elsewhere, but the pickup point could be, as we're saying, at
Could be
Spirit
in
Rock.
town,
Yeah.
possibly, yeah.
And so is there what's the incentive? Is there like a revenue share there, like for?
Yeah, so there is a small fee that they receive. They get paid per scan, so they get 50 cents per parcel, these kind of things. It's not gonna cover a full-time wage,
Yeah.
which is why we needed a business. There is some financial incentive, but it's a bonus to your business, and the foot traffic is the incentive.
Well, you guys will have to, when you're negotiating a new contract, you have to take a cut so you can support these other things. You guys go on strike or what?
Right after the cut for ourselves, we'll definitely
Yeah.
take what everybody else do.
Yeah.
Well, the possibility of work disruptions is real, for sure.
Yes, go ahead, Scott.
So I'm trying to read between the lines here. So essentially what you're saying is there is you mentioned a bronze level of some, there's different levels of service, right? So, and one is pickup point, one is bronze, and there's a whole bunch more, I'm sure, which I don't want to get into the weeds on. But I guess there's not much chance of picking and choosing what level of service there is. It's like, I'm just thinking, you know, can you just have them selling stamps? Can you have them doing certain things and not everything?
So the bottom level is the bronze, and that's, again, flat rate boxes, prepaid express post stamps, the things that you don't need a scale for, returns, that kind of stuff. Bare bones, there'll be a scanner so you can print off your receipt with your tracking number. That's pretty much it. When we go to like the gold standard post point, you're looking at like London Drugs or something where we've decked out the whole thing in Canada Post stuff, and it's the same product offering. It's the same level of services that you can and can't do. As a bronze, it's just a more fancy, elaborate, is what we refer to. So when it comes to a small, rural kind of just a drop-off, those are always gonna be bronze. When you get to the step higher, when it's the full service, we're talking about a full dealer, rural bees, what we call them. So this post point.
So maybe this new place is an option
Well, if you have
for
some,
the basics.
if you have some cards, I'm gonna go see that guy at that place, and I'll give him your card and get in touch with you.
I can go pop in there after this meeting. I was planning on making some stops in some other communities as well. So I've already kind of written off my day.
There's no more postal services over there, each is busy.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, I mean, that's a really good idea because we all know the reason, like, you're bringing business to the store, so he might be real for that, of having more traffic.
Well, that's why I think it'd be nice if somebody from council or somebody went to see him first sort of thing. Just tell him what the community's gonna lose and what the benefit for him being a business person could bring to his little coffee shop, you know what I mean? Like, I hate to see the postal thing go away from Grand Marais, that's gonna be
Well, it's not gonna go
Well-
away, it's going to be different perhaps.
Yeah.
But we don't know even know that at this point in time. It's not leaving the building yet.
When do you see final?
He's given notice for June 1st, however, he's contractually obligated to be there until, I believe, August or September. And he's aware of it, like, we told him we were trying to accommodate him as best as possible. But if he has to stay, he has to stay.
So I think we have some time to investigate the new league for sure. Now, of course, they would have to agree, and we have to make sure that it still fits the bronze model package for a pickup point, post point. And then from there, I don't think there's any way around the community mailboxes. Like, I really don't at this point. I think community mailboxes will be there. Whether or not we have a pickup point in Bel Air or a pickup point in Grand Marais, that would be the deciding piece still.
Now, have you looked around Grand Marais if you were to put community mailboxes where they might go? Or was that something that you would like the
I was
municipality
looking
to
for a map
look
here.
at?
We're looking at these things. I haven't personally, but I know our delivery services group has a pretty good idea of kind of the communities around and where we can put them. So
Up here, so.
if there are suggestions, we can definitely look into that right away. I can pass the contact information on to our delivery services team,
Right.
and they can look at that.
So how much, what's the hotel? Like for
Oh, by the
all
hotel.
Boxes there, like it's a wide open space.
There's a ton of room there.
Yeah, that's,
There's a ton of room.
Yeah.
Is it hotel line or is it RM line?
It's hotel.
We'd have to look, and I don't know where all that starts, but
yeah, there's a
There's
fair
lots
amount
of
of
room
land
there.
there.
I was gonna think there probably should be some room there, but RM line is usually the best. Although, if there's local businesses at the hotel that would wanna have them there too, that's fine.
well,
We don't pay any rent though, that's the only thing. So it's pretty much, we just cover the cost of
Well, I
it,
think
so.
that's what Deepak's looking at, like by the Grand Marais Rec Center may be a possibility for community
I think
mailboxes.
that was the option a couple of years ago that we discussed, was the community center parking lot or around there.
Around there.
Or did we talk about GMCC?
Well, GMCC, you
Not a
might
ton
be
of room
able to
there.
do it too, but then you're, like, to me, if you were to do it at Grand Marais Community Central and you've been at that building, like, to me, you'd have to kind of drive almost across their yard to get to community mailboxes, because the way it's laid out is you drive into the parking lot, then you have to drive wherever on the property there to get to point B, so
Yeah.
that might be a little bit tougher.
So the blue are these municipally owned lands.
Okay.
What about where we put the boat launch?
No, don't even say that.
Hold on, sure.
We'll launch your post office. Well,
That was out here, but it's never gonna happen.
Okay.
yeah,
Um,
go ahead,
There's,
Deepak.
there's basically the Grand Marais Recreation Center,
Mhm.
and although it's not shown here as owned by the RM, but the RM has control, more or less with it, so we could certainly negotiate something with them.
Okay.
All the land surrounding it is owned by the RM. Then there's the GMCC, which is the other one that people are talking about, the other community center, the Grand Marais Central, which is here, which is basically, and that's why they were talking about it being, so there's the building itself, right down number 12, and as you can see, the building itself, and it has some ability to be able to help accommodate that.
Yeah.
That is your central location, and the reason they've said that it's a not-for-profit, because it's really run for the support of doing this trailer park.
Oh, I think
So
you were
it is a
last
business.
time, the other trailer park.
Yeah.
Simple, okay.
And so that's the intent there. The other lands are obviously not suitable.
Well, it is actually a business, because
Yeah,
it
it
is, it is.
It's a not-for-profit business.
Well, it's not, they're for profit, it's the other one that runs it that's not for profit. Right?
Yes.
Yes, what's the other one called?
East Beaches
Yeah.
Creations.
So then this would fall into that other category there, that it is a business. actually.
Maryland's.
It is, but I think they've explored it, they've looked at
Yeah.
multiple options on
Well,
For which one are you talking about, sorry?
The
GMCC is actually a business.
Yes, but it's not the hours of operation for the retail portion of it kind of thing, it doesn't really fit in the model.
Well, it's 9 to 4 or 9 to whatever.
All year round though? That's the
Well,
other
I think,
thing.
I don't know what they run.
Well, the gym and everything is
Yeah.
operating
No,
all
it's
the
still-
time.
But it's not,
No?
not
Maybe
staffed.
they would be willing to change
It
it.
is not staffed for the winter at all.
They might be willing to change it.
So anyways, there's a few options for us to look
Okay,
at too.
so, yeah.
Go ahead,
Then
Deepak.
Mayor, I have a few
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah,
One unrelated, and I'll save that till the end. The first one is, so if you're looking at going to community boxes, what kind of timeline? Because we certainly need to be able to communicate to our community what's happening and how it's happening and be able to try to manage that reaction.
For sure. So a couple of things that we need for that, we need the resolution from council once we've explored the last options that we have. Then it would take about, we can do about 6 to 8 weeks lead time to put community mailboxes in. The more notification, the better for us. So that way you can communicate with your ratepayers to tell them what the change is, right? And then from there, we already have a staff member in place, I think Pine Falls, that will be taking on that, right? We would think we would add to the route, because we have an existing route that does Traverse Bay. We would probably have to add on Grand Marais to that route. So that can be done relatively quickly, but 6 to 8 weeks for the boxes to be installed and ordered and all set up and things like that.
Okay, so that communication that happens, as you've already had experience of having to do this in other communities, is there a communication plan, a communication templates that we could utilize?
So it's been done in many different ways. Most of them come through the RM, like when they send them through their emails. Obviously, it's going to be on the council minutes that this is what's happening in Grand Marais. But then from there, we leave it up to the RM. We don't exactly have a template for it, but because that's why we work in partnership with the RM. We have a communication team with our government affairs group as well. They can probably work with the RM on that, about setting some of that. The biggest thing though, like this is, even though we're very limited in terms of option, the decision really comes from the RM. So that has to be clear. Because we've had a few cases where it's like, oh, Canada Post came here and bulldozed everything and this is what's gonna happen. We don't want to get to that. This communication, ultimate decision comes from the RM. So we can help with communication, but would be limited to what we can do there.
There's a template that I use for some other corporate.
Okay, so let me understand this. What if the RM says no?
Well, if the RM says no, then we lose the post office and we don't have service set up for the community.
Okay, so it's one of,
So I don't know who's gonna be more angry.
it's not really an ultimate decision of council, it's basically an ultimate decision of council for a model that they can choose. Canada Post makes the final decision.
We do have, like, normally when we come to these with corporate sites, we have 3 options. And then the RM will discuss with us and then they'll pick which option to go to. Amalgamation, which is not in this case because it's a franchise, community mailboxes, or we try to rehire, restaff, which is what Daniel's trying to do in there. And we'll check out that other lead that we have at the cafe. Ultimately, then it's the RM decision. This one, we're kind of limited. We can still explore the cafe, but ultimately, I do believe that the best option, one of the only ones we have, will be the community mailbox.
Well, I think realistically, the challenge is they don't want to be sitting in front of us in 2 more years.
We
I
don't
think
want to
that's
risk.
what I'm hearing.
well, I
They
think they
want
were
a time
here in
limit of,
6
they've already been
months.
given notice of a time limit of
Yeah.
August as the latest, but
No,
they're gonna
but
try to meet by June.
Even if we find another spot,
Yeah,
they don't want to be back in 2 years
years.
because that spot,
We want something that's gonna last for your community. We don't
Yeah.
have to keep moving things around. The customers
Yeah.
don't wanna keep moving around. We wanna find something that's gonna make people as happy as possible for as long as possible.
right.
And we don't want any disruption. So like disruption in terms of we can't deliver mail to the community mailboxes and we can't deliver to a franchise. We've had that happen in the past, in the last couple of years, where we've had to come back 6 months later, okay, well, this didn't work out. It was a new store. Oh, now we're gonna do it again. Oh, there is no money. Now it takes 2 or 3 months to get boxes in. Now it's a disruption to service, which then definitely we get lots of calls with that. And so does the RM as well. So we'd rather have a permanent solution going forward.
Yeah.
Again, options are limited, but a pickup point and community mailboxes seem to be the best kind of gelling for the community, so.
Yeah, that to me, from the conversation that we've had here, that seems to be the way it would work the best, is with the pickup point and the community mailboxes, so. We'll We'll think about it and discuss it further, and if you have anything that you want to share with us after you have a ride up there again and have a look around, please forward that to us. And I think Deepak, you wanted to say something else.
It's more than thinking, we need to make a decision today as to what I'm hearing. So what you're doing is you're gonna go and talk to the potential client, and if there's a possibility that it might, but there's a stronger likelihood it won't. And if it's a stronger likelihood it won't, we need to develop a plan now, because you've already been given notice by June. And you want to try to achieve it because you don't want to get into a situation where the franchisee is now arguing or not even willing to provide the service, even though he's contractually obligated. I don't want to be in the middle of any of that either. That means we've got very little time. If you're looking at 6 to 8 weeks, we need to develop a communication plan. We need to tell our community about this. I appreciate that we've got it recorded, we've got minutes, but only very few people pay attention to minutes and video recordings, so we're going to have to send out a communication to the local residents there as soon as possible about that this is happening and the impact of this. And so my suggestion is that since we're looking to 6 to 8 weeks, that if you go out and do the verification, that we put you in for the first meeting in June, where we pass the resolution. By then, we've already moved forward. You can start developing your plans, we'll have done the communication. And that way, enough people, this way we're getting ahead of the game. Right now, we've been having this dialogue with council, but none of that community is actually aware of what's happening. So in June, I don't want to do this to you, but we need to be able to at least give our community an opportunity to speak up.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And that's what's going to end up happening. And so what I'm suggesting, and if that's okay with you, we're not going to throw you under the bus or anything, but I guess for you to make the presentation, that'll give, if there's an interest in the community or reaction, try to find some solutions or deal with them. Say, this is the way things are moving forward. There isn't a lot of choices, you know, but at least then people feel like they've had the voice, be able to speak to this, and then we'll move to the next steps after the communication. In the meantime, we can work with you on finding the location for the community mailboxes. I think looking at the land here, there's only 2 locations. That makes sense. It's either the rec center or the main community center location, and probably the main one at GMCC looks like the best location for the community mailboxes. It's our own land, so we can certainly look at opposing that if necessary, because it's off of a major road and easily accessible. And lastly, I guess, then we can sort of pick a date, you know, this way. We can certainly communicate from now till the end of the month, till the next meeting, as to you have no other options, you're already planning for the community, so we'll make the presentation at the beginning of the next month. We've already got a location picked and a plan to move forward. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I think we can commit to, like Danny's gonna head up there now, and we can talk to our head office retail people as well. What I would like to do, though, to put it out there, is that I think community mailboxes, like, again, is the way we're going. I would like to put that order in already, so that we're a little ahead of the game. Because I don't think we have a plan without community mailboxes in Grand Marais. Now, maybe I'm mistaken with that, but I'd like to, if I put the order in now, we need the boxes quicker, at least I'll have them in the background.
I think that's probably going to be whether we have them pick a town or whether we're going to Bel Air or someplace else. I think that's more where the question is, as opposed to the boxes versus.
So if a miracle happened and something came up and you ordered these boxes already, you could put someplace else or something, right?
If the miracle came up and we had a business that was viable, that had space to put however many feet you said they're worth of boxes in,
It's not a big.
I take the stickers off and we send them back to the warehouse for the most part. I probably get,
Because these
some grief,
boxes,
but
you
that's
guys are doing it in Winnipeg. You're not delivering to the houses anymore.
Yeah,
So
it's-
it's just a way of what's happening.
out of the 18 million red points of call that we deliver to, only 3.5 still get door-to-door service.
Yeah.
So the majority of them are out of post office or community mailbox. That's just the way it is going forward, right? So, but if a miracle happens, I can send those boxes back. But I think it'd be smart of me just to probably put that order in, and then we have them in case
Yeah.
the franchise is something, well, you know what, contractually, I don't really care, I'm going to stop providing service, then I'll have them police.
Go ahead, Scott.
Sorry to ask this question for a minute, because I think we still want to have some discussion. But there could be a possibility that we pass a resolution today to get this moved. Meaning mailbox and finding a drop-off site. Even if it doesn't work out, well, then it's, like I think what you brought up.
As I've always said, I'll do whatever council tells me.
No, but it's a good point. Like, if you wait till June, what are you gonna do before then?
We could get, after there's a discussion with council could pass a resolution for the administration to communicate to the community, work with Canada Post on
Yeah, I guess
locations
we could.
for community mailboxes and advertise or develop a plan for a public discussion with Canada Post on the implementation in the first meeting of June, as an example. So then, as has been laid out, they can order the community mailboxes, we can develop a plan, we'll share our communications with you. So I'd like to know, I'm assuming I'll send it to you, or?
Yeah, you said it.
And then we'll send it to you, and then we'll get your okay, because I don't want to say anything that's going to put you in a bad light, but at the same point, we want to be able to communicate everything appropriately and put that forward. So if that's the case, then
Yeah,
if it's comfortable, we'll pass that resolution sometime today.
I was just a little concerned about the timing.
I get it,
She
yeah.
brought
The
up.
timing is a bit tricky, yes.
Yeah.
Timing is the issue, so that way we can at least give people a chance to absorb it for the next little while, and then by June, we know that the majority of the community is there as well, and they'll have an opportunity to respond.
Yeah.
Lastly,
Go ahead.
don't mind, Madam Mayor, is a side discussion on a separated topic, which is that we have a community that's been on the radar for quite a long time and have been working heavily on trying to get their own postal code, which is called Lake.
Bell Lake, yes.
Yes. And so they've been working heavily, and so in the last little while, let me explain. So this is Gull Lake over here.
Been there a few times.
It's a little further down, yes, right here. So there's Gull Lake, and so there's been reaction from the community that they, they're not seen as Gull Lake. It doesn't show up on Google Maps, doesn't show up anywhere, it doesn't get certain, you can't get mails, and sometimes ambulance drivers are confused as to where to go. And so they've been working for quite a long time trying to get a postal code. Part of that was that the Manitoba government, the Post Office, Canada Post had said the province of Manitoba needed to identify it as an area. So they received a letter saying it could be. And so we said, well, you need to make sure you communicate, and they belong in two RMs. That's part of.
Oh, they're split.
They're split.
Just
So
the
this
ads
part,
are-
this northern part.
Yeah, that is.
And so what we did was we worked with them, and they've gone to both councils. We passed resolutions now saying that they will see this as a bound area as part of the community of Gull Lake.
So kind of a village or town split off from both arms?
Yeah, well, sort of like there's a belonging to both RMs with a certain boundary.
Okay.
That it's considered as an area, like Narrow is inside the arm of St. Clements, but it's a
Yeah.
little area just defined and similar idea.
Okay.
So the idea is that these main roads, this one here, and Highway 59, would bound that area as Gull Lake.
Where do they get their mail currently?
They're actually sorted out of Ocean.
Sorted out of Ocean.
Yeah, so they have an army. of-
It's the third,
Yeah.
But they have
With
laws.
Yeah,
So
they're
I-
R3.
They're an R3 Bossier.
Yeah.
They're their address.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of pushback from that community, and they've been doing a lot of work towards this, and we've passed the two resolutions. Wanted to approach you, so since you were here, I thought I'd run this by you. I don't expect an answer today, but I just want to put it on your radar. This is something we'd like to work with you on.
Okay.
On creating a postal code for this, and if we can resolve this. And I could certainly make some people happy.
So just so you're aware, the work involved in that would be changing, every person would have to change their address.
Yeah.
If we get a postal code change, they'd be going through that, and then the boundaries. We really need very strict boundaries, because
Yes.
we being from that general area, I worked out in Bossier Post Office, a lot of people outside that boundary that you're showing me kind of call themselves Skull Lake. So that would be something as well, to make sure that is a very defined thing for us.
Exactly, yes. And I think the part of that will require the level of communication with all those people. So when you say an address change,
Yeah, so they'd have to go and notify everybody that has their address and else and anything, because their postal code at the minimum will change, and of course there is
that's right.
fires.
They'll have to change anybody that's using their,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
Yeah, they would have to
I'll
make
make
Oh,
sure.
we've done that before in Governor, for example.
Yes,
Is that was
Yeah.
rural road?
yeah, no, Donna was changed that way. And it's a matter of the community needs to support this.
And once we change, we can't change for 7 years after that. So we need to make sure that that's the right decision, and that because we're bound by the postal act to keep it for 7 years that way. So absolutely, as long as it has a solid boundaries, it's something we can look into for
So
sure.
does that make sense with those boundaries?
The highway,
Last
like
time.
59,
59 here, this is
Stead Road.
Stead Road,
Stead Road.
and this one is 12, Highway 12.
Yes.
That goes through.
So basically, nothing closer, say, south past Sherwood Grocery,
Yeah.
right? Nothing past that?
No.
Yeah, I know the mile up, they all call themselves Skull Lake right here. So that's just heads up.
Those people might be upset, and
Maybe.
that's been the challenge.
Yes.
As well as there might be properties on the south side of this road
Yeah.
that may get upset, so they're not
Or be
included.
included.
But we could include people on both sides of the road, of a major boundary.
Well, usually it's the RMs that kind of separate them, like,
Yeah.
this is a little bit different because it's two RMs involved, right? So,
Exactly.
and then you have to be aware that, yes, STED is a separate, because STED kind of is just an offshoot of there as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the people in the rural community, well, no, I'm STED.
that's Alexander and St.
Yeah,
John's.
Alexander,
So,
Alexander doesn't have much there.
No, as far
There's
as,
maybe 6, 7 cottages.
Oh, no, there's quite a few right here.
That little cluster.
That little cluster of cottages right here. All
They're going
those.
Is that full-time?
But that's the trailer park.
Yeah, it's a trailer park.
Yeah,
So are they
Mailing
going to
addresses.
get their mail
no.
in Gull Lake?
A lot of them are
You'd
transit.
be surprised. I will be getting a lot, whereas I own a property, I get a mailbox. So it's.
But I think that's all rental trailer, like leased sites.
I can bring some awareness of the Gull Lake to our Delivery Services group, and I give that to them so that they're aware, and they can see what they can do as well. Is this something that the Gull Lake is pushing for right now, is something RM is pushing for, or are we just at the
The
stage?
Gull Lake is pushing for, and the RM is also
You're
looking to push
behind
for.
it kind of thing, okay, with them, okay, I can talk to them.
Because both RMs have passed resolutions to support the committee.
Yeah, I can't guarantee anything, but I'll run it by them for sure, and then they can be in contact with the RMs to discuss.
That'd be great. Well, thank you.
perfect, thank you. Anything else from
Then we
council?
have a final answer on it, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Criteria, does it meet it or whatever,
Correct.
you know?
As you're going down to meet with them shortly, I think they have an open house coming up with it.
At the end of the month.
At the end of the month, so you'll be able
Yeah,
to say
it's
something.
31st. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, thank you very much for coming in.
you're welcome, thank you very much for having us.
We
in
got
here.
a little bit ahead of the game here, so I think we had a good discussion and came up with some ideas, so we'll see where everything goes from here.
Absolutely, I look forward to working with everyone on this one, so.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can do a good job of that, if you're going to that Hard Rock Cafe.
Try to do a good job.
Spirit.
Spirit
Not Hard Rock, Spirit Rock.
Spear Rock.
Yeah,
That would really help council and would really help the community.
I mean, we want to keep services as much as we can too, that's our goal as well. We don't want to say no.
yeah.
There are different stipulations that could come up, but we will do everything we can to make it
I
work.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay,
Cards.
okay, perfect, thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good ride up north.
So you're fishing on in? goes fishing rod in?
Yeah, exactly. Take care.
Take care.
See you.
What about that Lola store? No? Is Lola?
Yeah, that's,
Scott, you want to grab those business cards?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, Madam Mayor, we'll go to the next item on the agenda.
Yeah, I guess
Which
let's
is-
go back. What did we do for the, register a team? Okay, for R. Okay, so we're at 5.2 on communication for action.
that one we're bringing back.
It's all the same.
Okay, that one we're bringing back, the East District Committee.
Okay.
And
5.3.
5.3 is the Community Foundation. This was the World Cafe Vital Signs, which is an invitation from Dave Thorne from, as the Saukar District Community Foundation Chair. He's inviting us to a Vital Signs discussion at the cafe on Thursday, June 5th, 2025, with a hot dog and barbecue starting at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock, just to have a dialogue on vital statistics.
I think I said I would go to that one. Anyone else is definitely invited to attend.
So the mayor and council?
Certainly put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, resolved that Mayor Feeblecorn and council be authorized to attend the Selkirk and District Community Foundation World Cafe for Vital Signs 2025 at the Selkirk Memorial Hall on June 5th, 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Sutherland, in seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Why did we pull the LC?
Because it wasn't sure that we held it over mainly because we wanted to see if Councilor Bessarovich may want to go.
And it's not till September 21st.
Oh, so she
So you said we're bringing it back.
I can't hear
Are you crying?
smoke in his eyes. Okay,
Sorry?
I just said smoke in your eyes. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, no, we're talking about one of the golf tournaments, we're bringing it back. Okay, so now we are at 5.4, which is the multi-material stewardship Manitoba.
It's the 15th anniversary for the event. It is happening on the same day as our council meeting on the 27th. And we brought it forward to see if maybe, I think Councilor Sutherland attends this on a regular basis. He may choose to attend this and then attend the meeting afterwards. Don't know. So it's from 2 to 4:30, I think.
Yeah, and it's at the stadium,
Yes.
Yeah.
at Pinnacle Club at Princess Auto Stadium. So, any interest?
I put down yes. What exactly is that?
Well, it's all about recycling, but I'm not sure. They're celebrating their 15th anniversary. So there's a guest speaker, there's highlights of their 15-year journey, and light refreshments networking.
Okay, I put down for it, but,
Okay, we'll take you off because it's the same day as our council.
right, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe we could let them know that it conflicts with the council meeting though, because normally we do, Councillor Sutherland usually attends all those multi-material stewardship
I've never
meetings.
attended this one.
Maybe somebody could go like from Public Works, that girl there.
I've sent it to our lead and let her know.
Yeah, maybe she could go.
Yeah, we service that staff.
She looks after the.
Yes.
So they want to change the whole recycling program?
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
So Dave, you don't want to go and then just come later, because our council meeting is into the evening that one.
Yeah,
Just a
no, I was,
suggestion.
This one,
our meeting
there's
could
a
go
ball
better.
in there. That's the only-
Okay, so we're not gonna attend that and
So
we'll
we'll
let
just
them
receive it
know.
as
Yeah,
information, we'll let
receive-
them know.
Yeah,
that
please.
There's a council meeting.
Yeah, and then,
Next
5.5.
Next is the, the 5.5. So this one is the graduation ceremony. They've asked for the Mayor of Feeblecorn to come to this and council for the graduation ceremony at Lord Sucker Education Center. So this is the Adult Education Center. And I think last year, Councilor Horvis went and spoke to it.
I don't think I spoke, I just went.
I think you had speech.
Oh, maybe I did, yeah. It was at the Legion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, oh, wait a minute, is there a second page?
It doesn't have a
No,
time,
it doesn't.
it just has the date.
There was an attached invitation to the email.
Right.
Heather, do you know where the attachment is? Somebody must have gotten it.
Let me have a look.
I'll take a quick look. Which one was this?
It's on a Monday.
Adult learning. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's a grant request. Here it is. They asked for a donation of $250, which I think we processed already. On April 29th. At the Selkirk United Church.
You and I went to
We went to the other one with the Métis
the
Federation.
awards and stuff that were
Yeah.
giving out.
Yeah, that was the Métis Federation. This was the adult learning.
Yeah,
That
at the
Councilor
school,
Horvis
they,
went to.
it was at the school, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I put down for that one, did I, Heather?
But Fireman's daughter got an award there. From.
No, you did.
Keith,
Yeah.
Pardon me?
No,
Southern.
nobody has yet.
oh,
Okay, is there any interest,
Keith Ginter's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
any interest for anybody to go to this one?
I usually go to the high school one, but
Yeah, you usually do the presentations,
Yeah.
so. I'll go to this one, I guess.
Okay. Resolved that Mayor Fiebelkorn be authorized to attend the LCEC Adult Learning Graduation at the Selkirk United Church on June 23rd, 2025.
I don't have anything else, but I do. Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Sutherland, Counselor Bazarovic, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing is, go ahead, Counselor
We
Strang.
maybe change it to and council, that if there's, because
Someone
it's
else
still
that
not
wants
till
to
next
go.
month, yes, that
Sure. The Mayor Fiebelkorn and Council.
Okay,
I'll possibly join you,
okay.
so you don't go
What's
alone.
that, Jim?
June 23rd, 2025.
And I notice it's at the United Church,
Yes,
Instead of
at
the
the
Legion.
Selkirk.
Yeah,
but if we put in council, then
okay.
I'll keep you updated.
Okay, have a mover, have a seconder. I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next one is the Eastern District meeting for AMM, and that is on June the 10th. And I believe that further on in the agenda, there is a resolution to change our council meeting, because that's actually our council day, so.
I thought we already did it.
We did that already.
to June 17th.
Did we?
Yeah,
I think we did.
Okay, I totally missed that, because I was telling Deepak that we had to make sure we did that today, so. Go ahead, Glenn.
So what date when you change the council date to?
June 17th.
17.
Thank you. Got it.
Okay, so if we want to bring the resolution forward, Deepak, you'll be joining us this day too.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Resolved, Mayor Fiebelkorn and Councilor Scott Spicer, Sandra Strand, David Horvis, and Glenn Basarovich be authorized to attend the Association of Manitoba Municipalities 2025 Eastern District meeting at the Broken Head River Community Hall on June 10th, 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Strang, second, please. Counselor Spicer. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, Red River Basin Committee. Commission.
So this is basically a Google meeting, it's a virtual meeting.
No.
No.
It's saying the RBC North chapter joined with Google Meet.
Oh, you have to, just put on that you're attending on the Google thing. that it's-
Oh, okay.
But it is at
So
Winnipeg
it
Beach.
is, it's at Winnipeg Beach on 32 Hamilton Way Avenue on June 16, 2025.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So for clarity, you can go to Winnipeg Beach or you can go virtual.
I think it offers virtual as well.
As far as I know, it's just the Google thing is that you're putting on if you're
Attendance.
attending cinema, yeah.
They sent a real invitation at 9:32 this morning.
Yeah, that one was my
There's nothing
invitation.
about virtual.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
you usually
It's
attending,
actually
that
considered.
they put for who's attending on the Google.
Okay, my mistake. So resolve Mayor Feeblecorn and Councillor Scott Spicer, Sandra Strand, and Robert Blanche be authorized to attend the Red River Basin Commission Vancouver North chapter at the Winnipeg Beach Community Center on June 16, 2025.
Can you put me down for that, just sure?
As
I'm
well
not
as
sure if I can make it,
Councilor
but.
For me?
Just put mayor and council, and then if
Sure.
Dave decides to, Councillor Horbus decides to come, does it say, sorry, I kind of missed part of this, does it say who the speakers are going to be at this point yet?
No, but I know, I was just gonna say, it will be our watershed that will be presenting.
right.
Yeah.
And why we're going to Winnipeg Beach is because it's usually St. Clements, East St. Paul that are doing all the North Chapter meetings. We
Yeah.
have had one in West St. Paul and we've had one in St. Andrews. And Winnipeg Beach put their hand up, so we were glad to be going somewhere else. But I know our mayor has offered our chamber here all the time as backup, so when people don't, and then everybody sort of sits there, so. And we end up having it here again, so.
They also have Alexis Canu from Lake Winnipeg Meditation.
Oh, there's
Two
another
presenters.
speaker, two
Okay.
presenters, okay.
I haven't read that one today yet.
They
so-
just sent it.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Can we put that on the agenda for?
I'll update the agenda with
For the
the,
final minutes of the agenda. Okay, resolve Mayor Feeblecorn and councillors and council be authorized to attend the Red River Basin Commission Manitoba North chapter at the Winnipeg Beach Community Center on June 16, 2025.
Moved by Councillor Horbus, second Councillor Bazarowicz. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. June 16th.
The next is the Lord's Selkirk Division Annual Graduation Awards Celebration, and that'll be at 221 Mercy Street in Selkirk on
June 4th.
June 4th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m.
Okay. Councillor Boulanger, did you want to go again this year?
Yeah, I can go, I forgot, I didn't, no, I think I didn't put the X on there, although,
So, resolved, Councillor Robert Boulanger be authorized to attend the LSRCSS Annual Award Celebration at the Lord Selkirk Regional Comprehensive Secondary School on June 4th, 2025.
Now the mover, please. Councillor Horbus, second Councillor Strang. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure. This is an invitation for a virtual meeting. I believe it's virtual. No, it's
No,
in person, 6 to 8. And that's to do with the bridge.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I brought this up as the Manitoba Infrastructure as a public meeting that they're going to have a public session on. So I thought that council, we should pass the council, all council can attend. And what I'm recommending is also that we post this on our website as soon as possible so that it gets shared as much as possible with our residents, and we'll put it on our social media as well, that this meeting is occurring, so as many of our residents that are interested will be able to attend.
look forward to going.
So,
And I can tell you right now that I'm not able to go, that's the same night as our regular planning, so,
I won't be there either.
yeah, so hopefully we can get 3 or 4 of you out to listen to what they have to say about our
Oh, yeah.
bridge.
What time does that start?
It's from
6.
6 till
6
8,
to
I
8.
think, yeah.
I got a GMCC meeting.
Oh, what time is your GMC?
4 o'clock.
4.
I wanted to
so
go,
it's Orbis for that one.
Well, I guess me and Dave can split it, and
yeah, I kinda wanted to go to the,
well, I guess I'll go to the GMCC.
Yeah.
You want it? Yeah. Because I missed the last GMCC. So
See, now
that
you're-
starts.
Trading off.
So, what I'll pass it as council still, just in case
Yeah.
any changes. Resolved, council be authorized to attend the phase 2 of the public and stakeholder engagement for the preliminary design for the structure rehabilitation of bridge on PR 204 at the Selkirk Memorial Hall on May 21st, 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Belzer-Owens, Councilor Spicer seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
What time is the GM, sorry? What time is
4
it?
o'clock.
4 o'clock?
You're not reading your mail again.
No, I wasn't at that meeting, so he would have known about the GMCC.
Okay, the next item, 10 on our agenda. Oh, go ahead.
I just find it interesting that the way they word it here, it says, is currently in phase 2 of the public and stakeholder engagement for the preliminary design for the structure rehabilitation for the bridge. So the argument that I certainly was making and a few others are making is, and these conversations will come up there, but I want you all to know where this should be going. Don't spend money on an 85-year-old bridge. Leave it there as a historic bridge, as a footbridge, and build a new structure, build a new bridge that's gonna last another 100 years. So I just find it interesting how they've already worded it ahead of time that it's for the structure rehabilitation, a design. They're using the word rehabilitation. So I'm gonna be on that like a tick on a hound.
I thought it was either or.
If-
Did I read it incorrectly?
So when we first met here, when we met with them, and it was that big Zoom thing we did, they said it could either go rehabilitation of the old one or reconstruction of a brand new one. And they weren't sure which way it was gonna go. So I think, and Selkirk's on board as well. There's no point spending good money on an 85-year-old structure. Build something new. There's no other way to do it.
So when they redid the Lockport Bridge, how many years did that add to its life?
50, I think they said.
50? So if they redid this one, it would give this bridge another 50 years.
But
No, I'm just, that's,
Yeah,
I know what you're saying, Rob.
No,
I'm just saying,
So there's a
Yeah.
difference though. So the Lockport Bridge is a federal, as you know, a federal structure. The maintenance of that bridge over the last 50, 45 years has been impeccable as opposed to this bridge, which has been deteriorating and falling apart and crumbling. So you can't make the distinction. I'm just saying, you can't compare the federal bridge
I'm not, I'm
to
just,
a
I'm
bridge.
just asking the question.
No,
I'm
for
not
sure.
disputing.
The other thing with the Lockport Bridge is not really even considered a bridge, it's a lock. And it would be top on it, it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
It's dual purpose.
what they've said is during phase 2, we would like to have the opportunity to share what we heard during phase 1, present the preferred alternative, rehabilitation versus replacement. They haven't, we'll find out, they haven't really
Yeah,
told
they
us.
didn't really say.
Gather feedback on the preferred alternative and describe the next steps. Now, obviously, I get what you're saying, Councillor, that what their description is Manitoba Transportation is currently phase 2 of the public and stakeholder engagement for the preliminary design of the structure rehabilitation.
Right.
So since they've said the structure rehabilitation, they've kind of given away that they've already made a
And
decision.
that's the point, and when
they're
I.
gonna tell us their intent
Well,
at this next meeting.
that-
Simple as that.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And 2 months ago, when Dwayne and I brought this up with him, he's just as concerned, and we should be more vocal as RMs in this community, because to me and to him, just to Dwayne, is they've already made their minds up. This whole smoke and mirror thing here of consultation is just to do what they have to do. Their minds are made up. I'll bet dollars to donuts that the mind is made up to rehabilitate.
Sort of
Because
like what Canada Post did here today.
Well,
And then throw it all back at us.
Yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
and it was a very similar process in Lockwood, because there
Yeah.
were a number of things that were brought out that didn't happen.
it's just
So they have their pathway set.
yeah, it's just unfortunate because that bridge needs to be wider. We need to have more volume of traffic going through it. It'll help both of us. So anyway, if it comes up, I'm mentioning it so we're all on the same page of that thought process.
We want a new bridge.
Where would they put the new bridge?
Just to the right, it's the only place it can go and come right through by Selkirk Block and Key into Frame Furniture. So Clandeboye would become the new Eaton Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question on that.
Go ahead.
So, to me, the perfect place, what I don't know what's on the other side, is straight down this road here. Just that empty lot,
Oh, right, yeah.
straight to,
No, you could, but that's all floodplain.
it's resort.
All floodplain. The cost of putting a bridge there would be,
Just saying, it just makes sense that it'd be right off the main.
no, I agree, but cost effective and realistic, no.
I don't know if anybody's gonna get them to change their mind at this point in time. I think they've
Yeah.
gone past that, but you know what, it's a good argument, and I don't, it's to find that right spot, and I think the spot that you said, that's been talked about over the years, to move that bridge to Clandeboye Avenue and make Clandeboye the new Eaton, as you
Yeah.
said.
I heard the golf course right beside there was a place too that they were talking about.
I think the river's a little narrower there.
Yeah.
They're looking, you know, when they talk about it, they're looking for a narrow spot that's a little more
But it's more
narrow.
residential there.
That's right.
The advantage of doing it, just to end it, the advantage of putting the bridge down Clandeboye is the current bridge, as construction is going on, could still be used. You keep using it, and as that new bridge opens, then you just transition.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Okay, so there will be a number of you attending that meeting. Unfortunately, I'm not able to, so we'll bring back a good report after the meeting. Okay, so the next item on our agenda, I think we're at 5.10, which is the management of the Highland Gathering.
Yes, this is just for the attendance to the Highland gatherings. So it's resolved Mayor Feeble-Corn and Councilors David Sutherland and Sandra Strang be authorized to attend the 57th annual Manitoba Highland Gathering at East Selkirk Arena on June 21st, 2025. Just so that it's clear, there's a separate item on the agenda later, and that's from the Manitoba Highland Gatherings. They've talked about their event and the help we're giving them. We've already given them the grant, and our next step is to give them a letter of support for their liquor license.
Could this be mayor and council?
Thank
This
you.
could be mayor and council.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, because I think I put uninsured down.
And I put maybe in, I'm not sure.
Okay, resolve mayor and council be authorized to
Sandra,
attend.
sorry, get that.
I was gonna say, you'll have to list everybody because they want names that they give, you know, at the gate for everybody
Oh,
coming in.
for
That's
free
right,
tag.
and the one that for the marching, blah, blah.
So
I just
we'll-
reading for the.
I'll read off all
Yeah.
the names.
Go ahead, Glenn.
And just to add to that, do you need resolution being in our own or?
Well, I know at one time we didn't, but we have been, over the last while, we have been passing resolutions, whether it's in our municipality or not, so.
So this resolution helps also for the communication with Council Strang said. So what I'll do is resolve Mayor Feeble-Corn, Councilors Robert Belanger, Sandra Strang, David Sutherland, David Horowitz, Glenn Besrowich, and Scott Spicer be authorized to attend the 57th annual Manitoba Highland Gathering at the East Selkirk Arena on June 21st.
Can I have a mover, please?
Say mayor Debbie Fiddle.
Yeah, you did. Councilor Spicer, second. Councilor Strang. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And Rosengers and District, Selkirk and Springfield Chambers of Commerce, an invitation to attend a
Golf tournament. It's a golf lunch and post-golf dinner on May the 21st. And this is the three chambers that have done this, the three chambers. I don't think we've ever attended in the past. So council like to receive this information, or is somebody interested in attending?
Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
After reading this, I guess there just be, since it's in Selkirk, but it's no benefit of ours of this chamber, either one of the chambers does not come back to anything for our municipality. So.
Councilor Balaji, you did show interest in attending.
My only show interest is I thought
It's not till June the 21st. They want to know by May 21st.
Oh, sorry,
June the
19th.
19th, sorry.
I'm not gonna go myself.
It doesn't say anything about Selkirk Biz or East St. Paul Chamber, which the ones that we're joined up with, so.
Okay, well, we received it as information. So moving
You'll
on.
have to come to the Island Golf Tournament.
Yeah.
Okay, so that takes us to new and other business. It's time for a break. The
Yes,
first-
Madam Mayor, moving on to new and other business.
The first item is a street name request.
He just gave it to you, Scott. You
This
look
will
like
stop questions, Councilor Spicer. The first item on the agenda is the street name request. This is the second phase of a street name request. They had requested to use this street name in their subdivision originally, and we recommended that we, due to this policy, look at historical significance first, so we recommended Blake Knox Road to be put in. So that's what the east-west road is. Now, the road that's entering into the subdivision, they'd like to still be able to call that Colavito Way, and we're recommending that's all.
I'm all sympathy.
You're a little too fast giving him your.
So,
To me, it's all the same.
is there a possible road that would continue, I guess, that south? From the one we're naming?
The one we're naming could possibly continue south, we're not sure
Okay.
yet. Most likely, it'll be the Blake Knox Road, and that'll be the main road,
So,
that subdivision. If I bring up that subdivision, it's sort of.
Like, that's why I'm asking, because why wouldn't we just name the whole thing Blake Knox Road? But then, if it is a possibility of going south, maybe it's fine.
I guess my question was gonna be, this Blake Knox Road, does it go out to the main road, to
Yeah.
500?
It will eventually go further to the
East?
west, further to the west, and if you go further
Great,
south as a possibility. Don't know if it'll reconnect with 500. It's a large piece of land. This is they're only doing the first phase
right.
of the development, and that's all they will proceed.
See, I had the same thought as Councillor Spicer, like, why would you want to name this other road? It's all one, when looking at it, it looks like one road, but if it's extended to the south and Blake Knox can be extended to the east, then it makes sense to have two different road names.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else from council? I'll bring the resolution forward then.
Whereas St. Clement's policy number 324 states council's approval is required for naming of a new road within the subdivision. Therefore, be it resolved, council of the rural municipality of St. Clement's authorizes the naming of the new road created within subdivision as 24-3060, which runs south off of ETH 12 to be Colavito Way.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Ward, the second. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
So the next is a request that we received from the Arnold Reynolds, who had passed a resolution, and they're requesting this resolution also come forward at the next AMM, as well as the Eastern District, and they're looking for support if we would also pass it. The basic premise here is in order to encourage more representative representation for people to run for elections, is that many people that have chosen not to run in the past has been due to having full-time jobs and not being able to get the appropriate amount of time. This way they want to have it built into the legislation that they must be given time off without pay, but at least time off when they need them to deal with municipal business. And they think it's a good thing, and I think it's a very good thing to put forward.
Interesting. So that would be something that they want to go to the province to mandate as,
Correct.
wow.
What if you're self-employed?
What's that?
Then you gotta talk to your boss.
Talk to yourself.
Talk to yourself.
So they're asking the province to enact legislation that enables employees who are elected to municipal council positions to take time off work, unpaid, to fulfill their official duties without being required to use vacation or back time, and within the protection against any form of workplace retaliation or recourse as a result of their public service. So they're saying there's an opportunity for people to do public service, but that having a full-time job as a part-time counselor makes it difficult.
I did that, I dealt with that for how many years now?
I deal with that right now. I
Yeah.
have to take vacation
Yeah.
off to attend certain events.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes you also make up your time too.
Yes, I
If
do.
you sneak, not sneak away, but if you take off for an hour or whatever, you
I'm
just.
working till nighttime,
Yeah.
until like minutes
That's
until
not
I
right.
close that.
You should be given the opportunity to either make up time or be able to take it off as need be and just take the time.
With pay, I think we should.
Go ahead, Len.
Yeah, we've had similar agreements for years with employers, with fire department. Some personal ones, but yeah, this is a great thing.
Okay, so if you want to bring a resolution forward to support them?
Sure. Whereas the participation in municipal governance is essential for maintaining democratic representation and ensuring that municipalities are effectively governed, and whereas there has been a noticeable decline in individuals putting their names forward to run for municipal council positions in recent elections, resulting in a significant number of acclamations or vacant seats, which undermines the healthy democratic competition and representation. And whereas many candidates are discouraged from running for office due to the financial hardship caused by needing to take time off work to fulfill responsibilities of elected office. And whereas current employment policies often require individuals to use vacation time or bank time to attend council meetings and other municipal duties, further discouraging participation in local governance. And whereas municipal councillors play a critical role in representing their communities, and barriers such as employment insecurity or loss of income can lead to reduced participation in municipal governance and fewer diverse voices on council. Therefore, be it resolved that the Association of Manitoba Municipalities be requested to lobby the province of Manitoba to enact legislation that enables employees who are elected to municipal councils positions to take time off work, unpaid, to fulfill their official duties without being requested to use vacation or bank time, and with the protection against any form of workplace retaliation or recourse as a result of the public service. And be it further resolved that such legislation ensure that employees are granted unpaid leave during council meetings, committee work, and other official duties supporting the vital function of municipal governance and encouraging a greater number of qualified and diverse candidates to run for office.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second Councillor Boulanger. Any further discussion on this resolution? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Those carried.
And
Okay, Prairie bylaw enforcement, I guess they must have some new staff coming on for the summer, so
Yes.
they're gonna update.
they've
on
given
this.
us quite a significant list of all existing staff and then additional bylaw officers that they'd like to be having RM authorized for bylaw enforcement purposes. And so you are okay with this, Madam Mayor? I'll read the whole thing out.
You You go right ahead.
Whereas
Steve.
an updated list of Prairie Bylaw officers has been provided by the Prairie Bylaw Enforcement Limited, therefore be it resolved, council authorize appointment of employees of Prairie Bylaw Enforcement Services listed below as designated officers and bylaw enforcement officers for the enforcement of the municipality's bylaws, the municipal act, and any other act the municipality is authorized to enforce effective May 13, 2025. I'm not going to read all the names, Madam Mayor. There's a list of the main officers as well as additional bylaw enforcement officers altogether listed on the list.
Okay, any questions or comments? Can I have a move? Oh, go ahead, Councillor.
Move.
Moved by Councillor Spicer, second please, Councillor Belanger. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, moving on, the next one we have is the Animal Control Bylaw 6 of 2020, and that is to do with the,
Adding to taxes, Madam Mayor.
with the incident that was illegal a bit ago, so.
Yes. So, as you may recall, on March 11th, there was a incident of dogs that attacked other dogs, a couple of other dogs, and an individual as well, who was walking and that escaped, and we had to take the dogs into custody and then made some arrangements with the dogs, and they've been since removed from the municipality and are now in the Yukon. The situation was that council had, as per bylaw, recommended that all veterinary bills with the residents be covered in costs that were submitted at that time. A total of all those bills, a total like $6,683.54 was identified. The owner of the property did agree to pay those costs, and since then he's moved to the Yukon with his dogs. The property is still up for sale, so we'd like to place this on the taxes so that it makes sure that we're collected even if the property is sold. And the property is up for sale at this point, from my understanding. And so we waived the requirement of the 30 days, and the payment has not been made. So we're recommending council pass a resolution to collect the total invoice amount from the tax roll. And it'll be at minimum collected at tax time or when the sale occurs, because all outstanding taxes have to be paid.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Is the house up for sale? Does anybody know?
Yes.
So we were gonna contact, we're allowed to do that, the bank, to let them know that there's money owing against that property?
We did before the resolution to make sure that if it was sold in between that 30 days, that was where the critical point was. Because now, once council passes this resolution, it will be placed on the taxes. So it doesn't matter about the communication anymore, because the new owner is required to pay all taxes. And they'll be notified if there's outstanding tax arrears, and then they can negotiate on the sale price.
Thank
And
you.
that was the intent, was not to have any new owner surprised by the cost.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Let's bring the resolution forward then, please.
Okay.
So payment would come to the RM through the lawyers who are dealing with the contractual deal, right?
The lawyers or the property owner, that what will happen is, if he chooses not to sell or isn't able to sell or doesn't get a proper price, he will be getting a tax bill at the end of, in October, as we normally submit, and in that tax bill will be this amount. If somebody buys it from now till the time that we submit the taxes, their lawyer usually says what are the outstanding taxes, and then determine what is owing and what isn't as part of the sale agreement. So be it resolved, council authorize administration to add the total invoice amount of $6,683.54 to the property taxes of Nathan Metzen for the property located at 33 Railway Avenue, roll number 530750.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Bazarolo, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next item we have is Manitoba Good Roads, and that is all the information on the 2025 annual competition.
Yes, they recommend that all municipalities submit for every category if they can. They've also understand that many councils have difficulty being able to look and go through entire RMs. So they are also requesting that contact your staff, grader operators, who can then suggest properties that could also be taken into consideration by council.
Yeah, that would be awesome, and I know that, you know, there's sometimes a shortage of judges, so if any of you are interested in helping out the judges team, that would be appreciated also. So I don't know exactly when the dates are, but the deputy chair has all that information. I probably will be having a meeting, I'm not exactly sure, we haven't picked a date yet, but, and if you do decide that you would like to try the judging part of it, you will not be judging in your own area, you'll be sent somewhere else to judge, so. But I guess to me it is important, as Deepak mentioned, for public works and for members of council or even staff, if they see a yard that is worthy of being nominated, bring the name forward and we can get a hold of them and see if they're okay with their yard being put up for competition. So the more the better. Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Can we get a paper copy, put in our mailbox and even sent over to Public Works, just to bring everybody to attention of what all the categories are? Say if we're driving around, I'd stick one in my vehicle and.
What about if it goes on our website too, if any local people
Yeah,
want to
I
nominate
think
somebody else?
Heather has put it on for
Yeah, it's not on
self-nominated.
yet, but
Yes,
we'll get it out,
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea, Dave, too.
Yeah, so, okay, so that's for information at this point in time. Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is our St. Clements Activity Center, which is the RFP for furniture. And so the RFP for the furniture has been, has gone through. We did have multiple submissions and are recommending an approval of a specific one. And so we're recommending the ArtMets as the solution. It is not necessarily the cheapest in the bids that were submitted, but the difference was there was a difference in the type of chairs and tables and so forth. Once the comparison was made, it was a minor difference, and we felt that ArtMets and the staff, when they did the review, felt that that was the best solution for the kind of tables and chairs that were being looked at. The other one was recommending folding chairs, and I don't think folding chairs is a solution for that location. So we're recommending ArtMets as the solution to go with. And if there's any questions, I've asked Brendan to also come up. If there's no questions, we'll move forward with the resolution.
I don't think so. I don't have anything. The only thing that I was actually, and I don't know if it's further down here, is what are we looking for numbers? Like how many chairs and how many tables are we ordering?
I was counting the little pictures.
Oh, here's the table.
everything.
Never
Yeah.
mind, it's right here.
What's the difference in the prices?
Once it was apples to apples, it was a couple of $1,000.
Yeah.
So what's the Big Apple cost?
The total cost is $87,000.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
So the decision made, was that with, because I know we hired a consultant for the design, inside design, is that with making,
That's working with our interior designer.
okay, with Brendan and everything?
Brendan and the interior designer.
Okay.
I have not been involved because
I'm just asking, so I thought, I'll just put that question out there.
Okay, so I'm looking, okay, at the, I guess I'm gonna call it the coffee area. Those are just smaller tables in there, correct? So there's the tables in the multi-purpose room, the small one, and the big multi-purpose are the same size and size?
Yeah, they're the 62,
Okay.
72, I can't remember the exact
Yeah.
size.
And there are round and rectangular?
We have 20 rectangle and the rest are round, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 50 rounds.
Okay. Anything else from council?
On date,
On point.
That's
Point?
another
another
discussion point.
For later.
Okay. I just thought it would be a Brendan.
Go ahead, Scott.
So, gotta ask the obvious question. So these are virtually indestructible?
Are we talking the tables? Like the,
Everything that's in this quote?
I wouldn't say anything's indestructible, but
Well, no, but it's gotta
Interior-
be.
they're definitely like heavier duty material for sure,
Okay.
yes.
As part of this, the interior designer did take that into consideration
I saw some
For the,
lifetime warranty.
for the type
Yes,
of
there is
material that
warranty
was
as
being
well.
used.
Correct.
A warranty for what, a year?
No, some of the product are lifetime, others are 10-year. It just depends on how much use they'll be getting.
Okay.
Okay, so they're tough enough, that's what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, they'll be tough. Yeah. Especially the couches, I believe that the fabric is quite tough.
Okay, any other questions? Do we want to bring the resolution forward so that we can keep going on this project?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Resolve that council accepts the recommendations of the recreation manager and hereby awards the tender for RFP Rec 2025-2 for the supplying of furniture for the St. Clements Activity Center to Art Mets.
Okay, can I have a mover? Counselor Strang, second please. Counselor Spicer, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, noise extension, Henderson.
No problem.
We were very easy today.
Make sure you have your exercise.
Thank you.
So
Thanks.
this was a request received by a resident who is planning for a wedding event on June 21st on a Saturday, and is having a wedding party for their daughter. They are saying that they aren't too loud and so forth. One thing to note is, and I don't know if it's been resolved yet, we had requested for them to,
On the agenda log.
pardon?
You got it on the agenda log.
They did get the approvals?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like
So it looks like they did get the signatures of the surrounding neighbors that they don't object to it, and so we have a resolution accommodating this noise extension from 3 hours past 11 p.m. to 2 o'clock.
Okay, any questions? Comments? Go ahead, Counselor Strang.
Do we usually do up until 2 o'clock, isn't it usually till 1?
We've done plenty, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to bring the resolution forward if there are no other questions?
Whereas Wayne and Judy Sir Keiko has made request for noise extension, which is regulated under bylaw 7 of 2020 for the purposes of a wedding party on June 21st, 2025. Therefore, be it resolved that under section 5 of the bylaw 7 of 2020, permit the outdoor playing of music and other party-related activities 3 hours past 11 p.m. at 8492 Henderson Highway on Saturday, June 21st, 2025. Be it further resolved, the property owners are responsible for nuisance noise created by invitees, guests, or other persons on the premises in the same manner as the person actually creating the nuisance noise, unless the property owners of the premises establish that they have exercised due diligence in a bona fide effort to control and abate such nuisance noise. And further be it resolved, the property owner must obtain all required permits from the Red River Planning District if there is a tent erected.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Bazarowicz, Counselor Spicer seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, 6.
Sorry, go ahead, Madam.
No, go ahead.
I have asked Kevin to come in and speak to this
Okay.
as well, and I think he's on his way.
I'll get him, he's not texting back, so.
Okay, well, we'll go on. I can address this. Kevin wanted to be here in case there were some additional questions, council, but we can address most of these. So, what we have here is the landfill cell construction and leachate pod construction. So this is the selection of the RFP that went out. As you know, we've hired Dillon Consulting, who's been working with us on the design and construction of it and the engineering that's needed. We have some good news and just, but it's not as good, do not anticipate this is a significant savings. So we've contracted Dillon to do this. The total design for expanding is for 140 by 140 meter by 2 meters deep. Landfill cell that's going to be done there, which is going to be excavated, as well as there will be a leachate pond expansion of our leachate pond. There'll also be a liner put into this landfill cell, and there'll be the dealing of the leachate pond, hopefully for much better solutions than we've had in the past. And as you know, this has been identified as a $4 million project, $2 million from the province of Manitoba, $2 million for us. We anticipate the leachate pond expansion and design and engineering costs, or design itself for the leachate pond, is somewhere around $450,000. That's a separate project that will be done as part of this project. There will be engineering costs and contingencies. Based on that, what we have is some good news that we have a very competitive bid, which has gone through all the analysis, and we are recommending going with Earthmax Construction as the lowest bid at 2.3. As you can see, the price difference between the highest bidder, which is 3.7 to 2.3, is quite a significant savings. Now, this is showing us to be under budget, because we had anticipated somewhere in the middle of that. And, but that doesn't take into account that, you know, there's the $450,000 for the leachate pond, there's still a road that we were going to do, and there's an opportunity to use the, if we do have some flexibility in funding, to put in some fencing around this entire site, so that we can put in the fencing, because as you know, we've heard complaints about some blowing garbage from Broken Head and Chipaway Nation and so forth. So this will give us an opportunity to finally complete this appropriately if we stay within budget. This is early, but it looks good.
Question?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Scott had his hand up.
Go ahead, Scott, and then Rob.
Okay, so this is probably a Kevin question, but we'll ask our CAO first.
Sure.
Okay, so we estimated $4 million.
Correct.
So the 2.3 is to construct the cell with the liner and all of that, as
Correct.
well as the leachate pond.
No, without the
So-
leachate.
So and that's why I'm asking the question, because we've got this price, plus there's the cost of the leachate pond, plus the cost of the aggregate, because that was taken out of this, was it not?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're more at like 3.3.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
We're still.
So I'm thinking of about 3.5 once we're finished with contingency and engineering, and then, you know, we don't need a lot to do the fencing, but the leachate pond was also identified as an expansion, so that we can do some additional engineering to make sure that it was functioning, so that we didn't have to continue to reinvest in that leachate pond. Then this might be an opportunity to expand it a little bit, we don't know.
I have one follow-up question.
Go ahead.
Are we looking at anything like aeration of the leachate pond or any of that in this, like some mode of enhancing?
We are already doing aeration.
Okay,
But is that gonna be in the new part of it too?
Yeah,
okay, perfect.
we're already doing aeration. So just depends on the hot days of the year that you have when aeration can work. If you get a year like last year with a lot of rain, it creates problems. The other advantage is, once we move to the new one, the old one will be sealed, and then we'll have less leachate coming in once it gets closed.
What do you mean by sealed? Covered over?
Cap.
Okay.
So they'll have to get pumped out into the new one, right?
Well, the new one will leachate, will be
No,
collected
but
from.
the old leachate, what's in there now, the chemical.
We're looking, I think we're looking at one leachate pond, one
Or
large.
making the old one bigger?
Yes,
Okay.
as part of this, as an overall design.
Well, then how would it be capped then?
No, you're.
The
capping-
cell will be capped, the
Oh,
old
okay.
cell will be capped. Right now, the leachate is flowing through on,
It's okay, it's okay.
it's okay?
Let's hope this leachate one works.
The intent is when you cap it, then the water runs off instead of going down and creating more leachate.
Correct.
Go ahead, Rob, I thought you had something you wanted.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
I got a question
go
here.
ahead.
The old cell would not be capped for quite some time now. Because they're gonna, we can go higher once we,
No, you can still cap the old cell, you're gonna, then you go up higher and then it drains through the middle. It's just a design requirement.
so we'll cap it, but still add more on top after. Okay. Doesn't really,
I guess they'll move that dirt that they cap off when it gets up to a certain point like this, eh? Because it'll be like this. Then they're gonna add stuff here, and then once that builds up, and gets here level, then they'll move that dirt off, and then make it higher, and then cap it. I think that's what you're getting at there.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise, how would it work? Because now you're like this, and you're gonna be down here, so you'd have to fill this up to get to there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Go ahead, Rob.
Yes, I just, yeah. So the price is, in fact, you just said it was for the landfill expansion and the leachate pond was an extra. The way it's worded here, it says awarding the legal landfill cell expansion and provisional leachate pond to construction Earthmax.
Yes, but it'll be done separately.
Oh, the way it's worded, it's for the
Oh,
tender price.
sorry. The leachate pond itself will be as part of this project. The $450,000 is for the gravel that was pulled aside.
Oh,
That's the $450,000, that was a separate project for that, okay?
Isn't
So
Chabot
that's,
supplying that?
pardon? Yes, Chabot is supplying that.
So the
And
450
then,
moves
and then there will be
along
also a requirement,
No way.
there's also a requirement, so there's the construction of the cell and the leachate pond.
for 2341,
Yes, but in there's gravel inside the leachate pond.
right.
So that gravel was pulled aside. So that's an extra $450,000.
Okay.
That was a separate bid that we already approved. On top of that, there will probably be, which we didn't know whether we'd have the funding or capacity, was to do a road in there, so we'll probably build that in. There's also an ability to do some fencing. So we're saying is, once we take a look at all of this, it should take us into the full cost of $4 million and still be within it.
So who's this Earthmax? Where are they from? Did he do any investigation?
Yes,
of
they have done work in other municipalities, and municipalities are quite happy with them and doing this. I've heard of Earthmax before from previous,
it? Or if they're not on bid in New Road 89? Earthmax?
and no, and Stantec's not the engineer.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Go ahead, Scott, sorry.
Once bitten, twice shy.
So we have an existing operational plan at this landfill site, do we not?
I think so.
So
I think
is
we're
that
required to
going-
have one.
Is that going to be tweaked with
Yes,
operation, new operational?
exactly, there'll be a new
Okay,
operation
perfect.
plan, yeah. Okay,
Okay,
Because that'll help with your capital questions.
Jeez.
okay. Be it resolved that council accept the recommendations of the Director of Public Works and authorize the CAO to award the contract for the Lebo landfill cell expansion and leachate pond construction to Earthmax Construction Inc. for the tendered price of $2,341,975.36, including applicable taxes in accordance with the terms and conditions of the contract documents for the Levo landfill cell 2 construction.
Moved by Councillor Horbus, second please, Councillor Boulanger. Any further discussion?
I just,
Yes.
yeah. I think I know the answer to it, but part of this building, the cell, like they put the liner and everything, and they don't just
Yes.
dig this, that's
They're required to
to
build,
finish.
yeah, liner, yes.
Okay,
The liner's
I
built.
thought that's what I wanted to make sure.
It's a clay liner, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Clay with stone.
No,
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
No, it's a solid,
It's still a rubber.
impermeable clay.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a rubber, right?
Yeah.
Rubber liner.
Oh, wow. And
they
that's
actually weld it, fuse it together with the existing liner. They have a machine that,
Are you talking clay or are you talking?
A rubber liner.
Rubber.
there's a rubber liner.
Oh, so it's clay underneath, then the
Yes.
rubber liner? Where does the stone go?
In the leachate pond.
The rubber goes in the leaching.
Okay.
Go ahead, Scott, then Rob.
Put you on the spot, you know. So once this is done, then should be okay with leachate problems going away and
Looking at my tenure, I could probably say yes, and not worry about the answer. What I would say the answer is, it depends.
So you're saying you're guaranteed?
We're hoping that this solves the problem of leachate, and dealing with leachate is a lot of different issues. Weather comes into effect, and many other things, so, you know, there's analysis, but as the climate is changing, if we start getting a lot more rains and so forth, it has an impact, so it's the best design you can come with, that's what we will use today.
what's the estimated timeline that this cell is good for?
20 years?
So you're gonna be here for 20 more years?
I said based on myself not being,
I heard
based
10
on my
years.
tenure.
10 years.
10 years, yeah, 10 years, yeah.
I'm sure you'll be sick of me within a couple of years.
That's why we're
That's
leaving.
what I'm predicting. If you're not already.
Did you hear what
You
Glenn
missed
said?
that one.
Glenn said that's why we're leaving.
So did we finish with the landfill? I thought, Rob, you had your hand up.
Do we know, did the contractor indicate start and finish time?
I think they have, we're having to deliver on this soon because the prediction is that if we don't get done by this fall, then we may have some challenges.
So it will be in 2025.
This is planned to be functioning in
Good,
2025.
okay, well,
What a year to do it and so dry, you can just give it up.
Okay, so we're moving on to the Highland.
I don't think we
We
voted.
didn't
Okay,
vote.
let's vote. Okay, so you read the resolution. Do I have a mover and a seconder?
Yes.
Any further discussion? I'll ask one more time. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. So Manitoba Highland Gathering.
So this is a long letter from Manitoba Highland Gathering. They talk about their 25 days, so June 21st and 22nd. They talk about all the work that's been done. They are very happy with the things. They want to be able to, they want Mayor Fiegel-Corn to provide pictures and welcome them right up for the program by May 30th. So they've requested for several different things, along with that they need support for getting the liquor license for the event, and so that's what the resolution is for, is to give them that. The rest of that information is for council to see and see what they're requesting.
Okay, so if you want to bring the resolution forward, we'll
Sure.
see where it goes.
Resolve council supports the Manitoba Highland Gathering application for community event permit for the Liquor and Gaming Authority of Manitoba to be held on June 21st and 22nd at Lincoln Park, East Falmouth. And further be resolved the 2-day Manitoba Highland Gathering event be added to the municipal liability insurance coverage policy.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Strang, seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, I know it says that we're moving on to the finances, and I don't know if you want to do this later. I just got an email this morning, and it's an invitation, and I don't know if Heather forwarded it to you or not. It's an invitation for the grand reopening of Okamic Marsh. Ducks Unlimited invites you to a special event to celebrate the grand reopening of the Harry J. Enns Wetland Discovery Center at Okamic Marsh. It is on Thursday, May 22nd, from 1 to 3. And then there's a little bit more information. The entrance is the main public entrance from the parking lot, and they want to RSVP by Friday. So, if we could,
That's something I got under communications.
okay, perfect, thank you.
Mayor and council,
I can't go. I have other meetings that day already, so it would be really good if,
What's the date?
22nd.
22nd from 1 to 3. And I think Heather's got it on the,
22nd of what, May?
yes.
State of,
That's moved to the
oh yeah,
23rd.
to move to the 23rd, yeah,
State of the region.
yeah,
I don't know if I have that in here either.
it's moved to Friday.
No, we'll have to talk about that.
No, we'll talk about it after.
It's moved again?
Yeah, because the 23rd, I wasn't available, and actually probably one other person wasn't available,
So
so.
that's not bad.
So the Okamic thing is the 22nd.
The Okamic is the 22nd. Sorry that it wasn't on the agenda, but like I say, I just got it.
1 o'clock.
1 to 3 at the new building. 1 Mallard Bay.
I know where it is. It's the same building, I think they just renovated it. Changed it.
Well, they had a fire there the other night too.
Yeah, they did.
But
Yeah,
it didn't come near the building.
no,
350 meters away.
yeah, so. Okay. So maybe just put, mayor and council, and then whoever goes. It doesn't say anything about, it just does say, let me know if you can join us, so if we answer.
We'll have to first, since this is an add to the
Oh,
agenda,
sorry,
so
yes.
we'll have to first have a resolution to add another item to the agenda. So what we have to first is have council pass that resolution, then we can add this as an item. So
Well, do you want to leave it till the end then?
we can.
Yeah, leave it till the end then.
Sure.
Okay. We can get through some of this other stuff.
Okay, so
Okay, so we're moving on to
accounts.
the accounts.
And closed list of accounts. Resolved that council approve the May 13th, 2025 list of accounts. Check numbers 250000457 to 250000511 in the amount of $697,039.18 for payment.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Bazarowicz, Councilor Belanger seconds. Any further discussion on the list of accounts? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moving on to 7.2, grants. Gaynor Family Regional Library.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is their second installment for their request for $57,486.75. As you know, we provide grants to the Winnipeg Gaynor Family Library, and then some of that money is then transferred back. But mainly, it's our contribution and our share to the Gaynor Family Library. This has been reviewed and is consistent with the previous commitments of council.
Okay. Any questions or comments? If we could have the resolution then, please.
Resolve council approve the $57,486.75 to the Gaynor Family Library as a second installment for the 2025 annual operating grant.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Spicer, Councilor Horvath seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next one is the Lord Selkirk Education Center, the adult learning graduation, and I think we passed a resolution for someone to attend that one.
Correct, Madam Mayor, and this is a request for a grant for a total of $250 donation. And last year, council gave them $500, which was split half with $250 going towards the bursary and the remaining going towards a graduation reception. This year, they're only requesting for the bursary and not asking for the reception itself, so we're recommending approval for the $250.
Okay, questions? Go ahead. Oh, okay. Bring
I'll
the
read the-
resolution forward, please.
Resolved, council approves the $250 to the Lord Selkirk Education Center, Adult Learning Center, for the purpose of funding a bursary for adult students for the program pursuing post-secondary education.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Bazaroa. Second, please, Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And 7.2.3, Lord Selkirk School Division Safe Grad.
And so this year they've requested for $1,000, and we've contributed similar on a yearly basis. And they anticipate the projected cost for the grad is about $110,000, as was last year. They've given us the details of all their costs, and they've requested for $10,000 grant. Recommending approval of such grant.
You want to bring the resolution forward?
Resolved, council approves the payment of $1,000 to Lord Selkirk Regional Comprehensive Secondary School grad of 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbus, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Beaches of 59.
So as you may recall, Beaches of 59 had requested operating grant, and council's decision was during the budget that operating grants weren't going to be approved anymore, that they could just apply for individual grants. This time they've requested for $500 specifically for their new Beaches of 59 Osprey BGGG1A. By GGG1A Adventure Race Series. I apologize for the pronunciation.
Okay, any questions or comments?
I think this starts at, at the beach at Grand Rate. This starts this race. I think it starts there.
Yes.
There's an
Yes.
advertisement at the
Yeah.
end.
I heard it on the radio. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where it starts.
Okay, so
Okay.
we've got the resolution brought forward, Madam Mayor, which is resolved council approved the following 2025 grant request, Beaches of 59, 2025, $500.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Belanger, second, Councillor Strang. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Madam Mayor, we have a delegation for the bylaws coming forward later. So what we're going to recommend is that maybe what we can do is move forward with the bylaws after lunch.
You're talking the building bylaws or the tax levy bylaws?
The building bylaws themselves, sorry, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so would it be possible then maybe to
We
do the tax levy bylaws?
Certainly, we can move forward with the tax levy bylaws. So we
Okay.
can move forward with 8.2. Resolve bylaw 4 of 2025 being a bylaw of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements to provide the 2025 annual tax levy be given second reading. As you know, Madam Mayor, we presented the financial plan. We've submitted the financial plan at an open house, as well as we did a public hearing on it. We had some residents show up for the public hearing, and we've answered any of the questions. We do have a couple of objections that were recorded. I think 3 possible objections that were recorded as part of this. That doesn't require the minimum requirement to object to this financial plan. And there are no changes or additions to the financial plan, and we're recommending second reading.
Okay, any questions from council? If not, can I have a mover, please, for second reading? Counselor Horbus, seconding.
Hesitation there.
Counselor Sutherland. Any further questions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Tell me hesitate because I forgot where we were.
Okay, resolved bylaw 4 of 2025 being a bylaw of the Rome Municipality of St. Clements to provide for the 2025 annual tax levy be read a third time.
Okay, any questions came up in the last 30 seconds? If not, I'll have a mover, please. Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Spicer, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, and please remember this is a recorded vote. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried unanimously. Heather. Okay, do you want to do the first reading for 13, or are you going to wait with that one also?
I think we'll wait. There's a possible presentation from our river planning on that.
Okay, so then we'll just go on to the communications for information. Is there anything that anybody would like to bring forward? Deepak, anything?
Yes, just letting you know, the Eastern District Municipal, we have this information when it comes forward with details. They've identified the Eastern District Golf Tournament will be happening, and they're looking at August the 18th in Maplewood Golf Course. But we haven't, they've just said save the date at this point.
Okay, anybody else have anything that they wanted to bring forward from the info correspondence?
Sandra?
Go ahead, Sandra.
Madam Mayor, I see that there is the Red River North Tourism. I don't know if anybody read it, but there's only, there's 13 pages. There's only one item there for the Arm of St. Clements. I think we need to communicate or use their services a lot better, that just to get people out and maybe get Brendan and Taylor, or even maybe Marissa could be a better, like, you know, because everybody, like somebody has a contact, so every little thing that's going on, because we do have lots of stuff going on in our community and just nothing's getting out there. Even the market, is the market going to be opening up at
Grand Marais,
at
GMC.
yeah, well, there one on Fridays there, that would be a good thing to bring up
Yeah.
for people, and how about the one even at Lockport, if that's going to, I know that they have advertised in there the Skinner's one, but we have the one at Lockport that's right across the river, and if it's the same time, it will bring people walking across the new bridge there to both sides of the community, so.
Good point, Matt.
But anyways, just, I just was reading through to see of what we have going on, and yeah, there's just the Highland Games in
Yeah,
there.
there's nothing.
Good point, Councillor. We'll make sure that Marissa connects with them, because everything that Brendan and Taylor are doing, they're sending to Marissa to make sure that she's putting it
So
on
then
our
she could be,
website.
and I could
She
tell
could
them
then
that
just
she'll be
automatically
the
send them.
contact to be watching for her, yeah,
Yeah.
perfect, okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Councillor Horbus brought this forward. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, so I was reading in the paper the other day, it says that any PR roads, like, I know Rob had mentioned before that there's the PRO over here, that the government, if you call them, they'll, and you pay them, they'll do dust control in front of your PR roads, gravel roads. It was in the paper, and I cut the article out, Deepak has it there. I think we should put that on our website to let everybody know that if you have a PR road, because then they phone us and they said they want dust control or whatever, that this is available from them,
Geez,
for
I didn't
them.
know, that's, I didn't even know that, that's amazing, because we have a lot of great players on 435 here.
Yeah.
Bosco's, who every year,
But this specifically says in unorganized territories. So I don't know if it applies to the entire
Here?
province.
I don't know, it's worth a shot. Well, maybe we could investigate it, get Kevin to
We
find
can
out.
investigate it.
And then if it is, then we should put it on
Yep,
there, right?
definitely. We should.
And if, what's the difference if it's unorganized or whatever? Like it, you
Does
know
that
what I
mean
mean?
the province is unorganized, or?
Yeah,
This means that there's no
it says
zoning
PR.
regulations, basically.
Just the wording in there.
Okay, so with that, if there's nothing else, we will move on to our committee reports. And I think I'm gonna do something a little different today. Start with Councillor Sutherland, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, April 22nd, we had a budget meeting. April 23rd, budget meeting. April 27th, there was a meeting in Grand Marais regarding the Baconia well. It was at the community center, or and it was Deepak, Dave, and myself there. We didn't conduct the meeting, it was Liam Pearson, whatever. Liam, yeah. Anyway, we attended that one. I think it went fairly well with just a few people that, and I won't mention any names, that who were against it, had a lot of questions. But other than that, I think the people that did attend were pretty well satisfied with what was proposed. Office of Drinking Water in the province was there, and they answered questions. And Deepak also answered questions that people had. Some of them were very happy with what they heard, but I don't think it didn't matter what we told them. They didn't agree with it. Nothing we could do about that. But other than that, I think the meeting went good. April 28th, the open house. April 30th, MAR Zoom meeting. I'm sorry. April 29th, a special meeting that was with Kevin on the road plan. April 30th, MAR was held, the elections were held. There's one new member, Shirley Kalanick from Brown, I believe she's a...
That's at Mar.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's an elected official.
Yeah. Deb gave a MAR financial overview. We have MAR, there's a total of 87 members now with municipalities, First Nations, individuals, and industries. Also discussion on MMSM. They brought up before, they're in Winnipeg, that meeting they're having. They want to transition to the blue box recycling. That's only the blue box though, not garbage recycling, but their intent is to, like even ours itself, they don't know how they haven't really given us a plan, how they're gonna do it. They've been talking about this for a number of years, but apparently this is gonna happen, and then they'll take over the blue box. But we still have to have our
Pickup.
garbage pickup.
How about the blue box?
So I can't tell you, because they
There's
maybe
it's
at this
still in the
meeting in
works.
Winnipeg, they'll be a little more clear on things. I don't know. But that is their intent. They've been talking about this for a number of years. May 1st, arm meeting attaché. There was two presenters, Anna Hunter of Longway Homestead and Christy Lanthier from Fair Mayfield Farm. Kind of interesting. They work together on different products that they make from the sheep that they have, fertilizers, and from the wool and stuff. And they had, I think it was a pretty good presentation, pretty interesting. And reports from Selkirk, St. Andrews, and Clements also. and that was in St. Genevieve, that meeting. May 6th, public hearing financial plan. And on May 8th, I attended the Gordon Hauer Senior Center, the Mother's Day tea, I'll call it. So I served tea. Dave and I were supposed to, but Dave had other commitments, he couldn't make it. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you for that. Go ahead.
I wish I could have attended that Grand Marais meeting. It had to have been frustrating for who attended.
Dave, and Deepak.
Okay. Triple D. Overall went good from what I'm hearing, but it must have been frustrating for you guys being there because from day one, the RM got ahead on the curve on this one. And a lot of time was spent on literature, on information, you know, way ahead of the curve. And like Dave, just what spurred me off this was when Dave said, just in his report, it wouldn't have mattered what we said, and I just find that so unfortunate when you invest so much time in giving factual information to a group, to individuals, and I'm gonna call it the folks, and I'm just gonna say it, the folks up there. Clearly the RM laid out exactly where the facts were, and yet the people still think that we're the nefarious ones, that we're the bad ones, that we aren't doing enough. So I couldn't imagine for you three being there and having to just, you know, be as polite as you can if I can say.
It wasn't that bad though, Rob.
No,
Okay.
The government took the brunt of it.
Okay, good.
They
good,
did, and they were there front and center.
Okay,
I mean, they really did, you know, they took the brunt of it.
awesome.
I think Pat got up and answered questions, but for the most part, what Dave says, most of the people in that room were happy. Like, there's a plan, we're working with the province and Office of Drinking Water, there's a plan, a good plan. So it was explained to them.
Good.
But there was a few people, like I said, I don't think they came to that meeting with, in mind to disrupt things.
Right.
I think that's the way I'll put it. So, you're always gonna have that.
They're bringing it
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Sandra, I don't think you started, so go ahead.
The morning of April 22nd, we had, mine was going to be a lot the same like Dave's. Budget meeting, then we had our planning council meeting in the afternoon to evening. April 23rd, budget meeting. April 28th, budget open house. April 29th, we had our budget meeting, our first reading. April 30th, I attended with the mayor, our CAO and Councillor Bazarowicz, a provincial announcement at Lockport with Minister Mike Moyes for a program that they are giving funding to for aquatic invasive species funding. They had put forward $540,000 for that. It was actually a very nice presentation done. Our mayor was the MC, and also Mayor Selkirk had joined her also, I think with him being on the Red River Basin and on the International Watershed Board. That evening I also had a Red River North Tourism Zoom meeting, just speaking on some of the updates of some of the events coming. May 1st, I also attended our meeting in St. Genevieve, and Dave already put that there was the two lady presenters, and they're first generation sheep farmers and wool mill owners. They work together to bring tourists to their area, and they have little cabins there too that people come for a week, and they do sessions with them right from the beginning of the sheep, grazing the sheep, looking after them, all the way up to making the product too. So, and then their thing at first, I thought, okay, what does this have to do? But it was actually very interesting. I think what we need as councillors, what would be good, Madam Mayor, is to get a listing of what we have in our area and to play a part and help some of the local people that have some businesses or do some kind of craft or something to emphasize and just support them too. Because that's what their municipality is doing. May 6th, Red River Basin meeting I had in check signing. And May 6th, also that evening was our financial plan hearing. That's everything.
Okay. Councillor Boulanger.
Just the May 6th financial plan hearing, Madam Chair, that was it.
Okay, thank you. Didn't think you would have very much today, so. Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Very similar, April 22nd budget meeting, April 23rd budget meeting. April 26th, we had a strategic planning meeting for Gaynor Regional Library. This one has been going on for a while just because of first the pandemic and then whether we were going to expand or not. So I think we've pretty much got it wrapped up where it'll be final draft stage. So I think we're there. April 28th, we had our open house for the budget. April 29th, we had the special meeting for the first reading of the budget. April 30th, I attended the Zoom for MAR also. And yeah, just to add on to what Councillor Sutherland was saying, the Blue Box program is supposed to be with the producers paying the cost of recycling what their containers, and it's actually, they say it's supposed to save us money, but there will be challenges for us and others because we're still picking up garbage, and this is only for the Blue Box. But I think you know, there's a little bit of back and forth between the MMSM and the province, and they're just trying to tweak it and make it work out. And in the middle, there was an election, so I think probably it's getting back on track. And May the 6th, the budget public hearing, and that's all I have unless there's any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Boswell.
April 28th, we had our budget open house. April 29th, we had a further budget meeting. April 30th, we had the Zebra Muscle announcements in Lockport of $540,000 grant. May 1st, Arnold St. Genevieve earlier, the sheep farmers and their products. And to that, I'd just like to bring up, we could make a note to gravel the Kirkness Road, the Kirkness rink area, the park and ride. We're all there.
Parking lot?
Yeah, the parking lot. It needs gravel. And May 6th, public hearing of financial plan. That's it.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, go ahead, Sandra, and then Rob.
I just want to say thank you, Councillor Bazarowicz, for bringing that up, because Councillor Bazarowicz and I met the mayor and Dave, because he drove, and that's what we used as our meeting spot, and never been in there before, but you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And it was surprising on how many vehicles are there. The other thing I thought I noticed, the other thing I noticed is, Rob, when the Operation Red River cleanup starts, do you put a garbage can in there?
We can.
Yeah, because I noticed since so many people, there was lots of garbage around in the area.
So we'll use parking lot for.
Very much.
Right.
I was totally
It's every day.
surprised.
Not just for the
No,
skating
it's
rink in the
every
winter,
day. Yeah,
No, that was my comment. They said it. I can't believe that place is full.
I know. Okay,
Needs a little bit of work.
yeah. Go ahead, Councillor Corbus.
April 22nd, 23rd, budget, 27th, Baconia Well meeting in Baconia, which went pretty good, I thought. I thought it went really well, except for people talking about what happened 20 years ago, sort of thing. So, whatever, 28th, budget, 29th, 6th, financial plan public hearing, that's it for me.
May the 6th.
May the 6th, sorry.
Go ahead, Council, go on.
Just to separate back to Glenn, Deepak, do you make a note to let Kevin know about that part, or how does that happen?
I was gonna ask, you should ask you the resolution to tell me that, we discuss that at the camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Ask me a resolution, and take care of it.
We'll add that on to our invitation.
Yes. Okay.
Which one was it? I'm doing that number right now.
Curtis.
Curtis,
It's
yeah.
gravel.
Okay, I will go to mine. I have pretty much the same as everybody else, just the provincial announcement. I just wanted to touch on that one a little bit. I'm not sure, Scott Phillips, one of the vice presidents from AMM, was also there. So it was actually Minister Moyse, Scott Phillips, and Larry Johansson that spoke. I got contacted to be the MC for that, so it was kind of a little bit different because it was in our municipality. I was asked to be the MC, so that was a little bit different for me. May the 5th I'm going to jump to because May 1st I was in ARM and everybody spoke about that already. May 5th I had a John Q meeting. The meeting was an in-camera meeting to discuss a potential upcoming project, and I can give a bit of an update when we are in camera. And on May the 8th, I had another John Q meeting, and that was an onboarding of a new member for the committee. East St. Paul has a new representative on John Q, so that was that. And yesterday I attended a very interesting meeting. It was the East Beaches Resource Center AGM, and I brought their annual report. If anybody wants a copy, I was going to take a copy for myself and leave this one here. But there were a number of reports from the members, and the chairperson's report was read. The chairperson actually wasn't there. She wasn't able to be there yesterday. And there were reports from transportation, resource coordinator, financial, and fundraising. And I think it was the last meeting or maybe 2 meetings ago, we had granted them some money for the transportation program. And the lady that's looking after the transportation program says it's very, very successful. She's going to send me some statistics because they only had 1 copy of it. But the resource center now is working out of Grand Marais 1 day a week. And they are finding it very, very successful. The resource center also works with the IERHA to provide rides to people for appointments, mostly for medical appointments, but they do have a time that they do take them for wellness, and that can be whether it be shopping or going for a coffee with somebody, things like that, but they try and get a few people together. Now they're also using the GMCC program or building for a day program, and the last one they had 12 people participating in a day program at GMCC. So they're utilizing our building, and I know we did grant them some money and they thanked us for that. And I think they're going to try and do more and more for the community, especially for those that perhaps don't have transportation or don't have a vehicle. They're trying to get them to their medical appointments so they don't have to take a cab where it costs them $100 to come into town for a medical appointment. So I thought it was very, very interesting. So, and they're having that fashion show also in June that they mentioned yesterday. So I'll leave this here. I'll just throw it on the table there once I make my copy. And I also picked up a newsletter, but I see that we have it on our agenda under the info correspondence. There's lots of stuff going on, and it seems as if they're moving, not moving into our municipality, but they're doing more in our municipality for some of the areas, so. And that's all I have. Deepak. Oh, go ahead, Scott, sorry.
Just to let council know, at the library strategic plan, I did bring up this program. Because the library's trying to expand usage in our municipality, so, I mean, for our residents, you know, maybe they can take a trip to the library, or if
Yeah,
there's a couple and one's going to the hospital for testing, then they could go to the library or whatever. We're just trying to get more people using it.
right.
Now, it's a bit of a challenge in this case because I think once you get out of our municipality, that's Allard Regional Library.
Right.
But still, I think if they contact them, then maybe there's an opportunity there for more
Yeah.
usage.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Similar events all were attended with the council members as well as the mayor at Lockport and so forth. What I can inform you is that we've been informed that management infrastructure also took a look at some of the issues related with some of the direct access for A&W in some of those areas there. They are looking at fixing up those accesses for the grocery store and A&W and so forth this year. So they're gonna fix those up so they're not gonna be as bad as these potholes and things that are there. I didn't notice that. As to everything else, we're working forward. We have had a solution that we've discussed with the residents and by Grand Marais about the Maconia well. We should be coming forward in June with a report recommending a strategy forward that we can have. When we do come forward in June with that report, I'm sure there will be some attendance of residents who might want one direction or another. And we'll come back with administrative recommendations similar to what we shared with the community there, which was that similar to what we've already shared on our website, which is that we're looking at trying to keep the well functioning in the same fashion as it always was, which was a pale fill. And council has passed a budget with at least $150,000 devoted to doing something about the Maconia well this year to make sure we can assure the residents there that there will be a solution and that the new well shouldn't be closed or the new well will be put in place before the old well is closed.
So the new well will be operating and the old well will still be going, and when the new well's in swing, we'll shut the old one off. That's kind of what we
That's
said.
what I'm hoping
Yeah.
to do, and we'll get the engineers and so forth involved to determine that. I just need to understand what happens with the hydro pressure. My best technical term. So nothing else to report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you for that.
And what's your big fire thing there? You're on the radio every 2 minutes there. Can you share
Yes.
something with
That
us?
definitely, I could share something about the fire.
Yeah, Josh.
So on Sunday, we had a notice given out to the Selkirk Fire Department who responded to a fire call, which went to the Lebo Marsh area, and a fire had started due to lightning. The fire department was unable to enter the location. As I'm looking outside, it's quite windy, so today might be a challenge.
Yeah.
And so they continued to monitor the site. At about midnight that night, they noticed the fire was getting larger and it was spreading along the marsh areas and hadn't yet crossed over to the grasslands. And shortly thereafter, at 6 a.m., they sent out drones. They reviewed the entire site. They flagged out where the fire was, where was the potential for spread, and then identified significant any of the properties anywhere from the south where the fire was all the way up to the northern edge of the fire in the Lebo Marsh. The winds were blowing from the south, from the southwest or the southwest, and so the fire was beginning to move towards the northeast. So we identified by early morning, 8:30 yesterday, it was identified that the properties on Road 91 north and 32 east, there were 4 properties there that we had to look at evacuating those individuals. Our protected services officer along with the fire department went out there, the fire departments had already dispatched by now all 3 fire departments. East Selkirk, East Beaches, and Merrill were all on site.
And Zaki.
And Skagit.
Saggy.
And Sagin also came out because we had requested mutual aid. And we had also contacted Conservation, who had made plans to have water bombers come out, as well as a helicopter, and which helped to put water on the fire. The first order of business was to protect structures, and they went in and tried to protect them. They started also fighting the fire by making sure that it didn't cross any more ditches and cross any further, but it was headed definitely, it was by the afternoon, it was at least 4 miles long, 4 miles wide, spreading across that entire area. By the evening, it was looking like it was going to be spreading towards also Broken Egg, who were notified earlier in the morning, and they had prepared their fire department and gotten ready and already had planned several evacuations. By the evening, we had made determination that there might be some impact in the Patricia Beach area, so our protective service officer, along with fire department, went out to Patricia Beach and started notifying residents. We notified at least 15 different residences that they may have to evacuate and be prepared. Luckily, overnight, as I continue to monitor, there wasn't any significant growth of the fire. To the south, it looks like it started to burn itself out and or ran out of fuel. To the north, it continues. As of today, right now, it's continuing to spread. There's hot spots, and they're fighting those hot spots right now and dealing with it. The helicopters helping. The bombers had to move on, and they've gone to other locations in the province to deal with issues. I just had a request from EMO to talk to them, and I've asked Tyler to contact them and see what's happening there to see if there's any issues that the EMO has with us today. I think we're past the worst of it, but there's been an extraordinary effort on part of all our fighters, and it's gone through Sunday and so forth. Today we're looking at possibly closing part of St. Peter's Road to make sure that there aren't people traveling any further into that location. And it seems like we might be through the worst of it, and we continue to pray for more rain.
Thank you for that.
Any other things?
Questions, anybody? Heather, do you have anything you want to share right now? Okay, then maybe we should move in camera and we can discuss what we need to there and go from there.
Resolve Council recess the regular meeting going to in camera to discuss legal and personnel issues, and further be resolved that all matters discussed will remain confidential as per section 83(1) of the municipal act.
Yeah, mover please, Councillor Strang, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those